Sunnah followers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnah followers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of Sunnah Followers Open Forum. And this is a special forum that we will host tonight. And it's at the request of many of you. Many of you have requested us to have a forum on marriage in Islam. And this was a great idea. And today we decided to finally do it. I want everyone to understand our way of life, Islam. It's a wonderful way of life, perfected for us by Allah. He not only created us, but he gave us a purpose of existence. And to help us to fulfill our purpose of existence, he sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a mentor for us. And through his example, we are able to not only fulfill our purpose in life, but also we will end up rewarded with paradise. But again, we were not to be alone in this quest of purpose. As Allah himself tells us in the interpretation of the meaning of his signs is that he created for you from yourselves mates so that you may find tranquility in them. And he placed between you affection and mercy. Indeed, and that are signs for people who give thought. So this will begin our topic of discussion today, marriage in Islam. And Allah, he knows his creation better than we know ourselves. And the road to fulfilling our purpose and paradise is hard. So there's nothing better to help in our journey than to have a good mate. And our prophet himself said it best when he said, this world is just a temporary convenience, and the best comfort in this world is to have a righteous woman. And being that Islam is a religion of balance, not only did our prophet speak of the righteous woman, but he also said the most perfect of the believers is the one who is best in character. And the best of you are those of you who are best to your wives. So again, we see that our way of life is a way of life of balance. And to get through this life, it's good to have a good mate. Does everybody understand that? So this is why marriage is so important for us, and choosing a mate is not an easy task, but Allah has set forth guidelines as a means of helping us. He tells us, for example, to marry those amongst you who are single and those who are salihun. But do we understand what Allah means when he says that? This is what we're going to discuss today. We're going to break down what it means when Allah says, marry those who are single and salihun. And also, in addition to that, our prophet told us, that there are certain conditions that we have to have that will bring about a successful marriage contract. And that is, number one, a guardian for the woman, also a dowry, and also 2 witnesses, and the marriage should be announced. So we will speak of all of this today. We're going to speak about salihun. We're going to speak about the conditions of a valid marriage contract. And then we will entertain any questions that you all may have on this topic. So let's start this off with the guardian. And of course, there's some people out there who don't believe, in the hadiths, but without the hadiths, you won't know how to fulfill your purpose. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any woman who marries without the permission of a guardian, the marriage is invalid, invalid, invalid. So that's the number one condition. Before you women even consider seeking a husband, you have to first consult with your guardian. And the guardian, he should be of sound mind. The guardian, he must be an adult. The guardian, he must be a man who is free. And he has to be of the same religion as you, which is Muslim. A non-Muslim can never be a guardian over a Muslim. And a Muslim can never be the guardian over a non-Muslim. An apostate is a person that leaves Islam. He can never be a guardian for anyone. So the guardian of the woman must be Muslim, and he must have good character. He must be someone who practiced the religion himself and is of good character. And of course, the guardian must be male. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no woman may conduct the marriage contract of another woman, and no woman can conduct the marriage contract on behalf of herself, because the adulteress and the fornicator, they are the ones who arrange these things on their behalf. So these are all the proofs, guys, that you have to have a guardian. It doesn't matter if you were married before, virgin or not, you have to have a guardian. And with that said, we do have a special guest today. Let me turn the camera on to him. We are graced today with the presence of one of our brothers, Brother Haytham. Where are you at with your camera, Brother Haytham? I'm gonna
yes, one second, I'm coming.
Okay. I'm gonna turn this over to Brother Haytham so he can speak about the importance of the guardian and how the guardian should be determined in Islam. And also, Brother Haytham, you might want to also break down what that verse of the Quran means when Allah says, marry those who are salihun. So inshallah, Brother Haytham will take it from here. Okay. Give us a minute here, guys. Brother, yeah. Okay. Okay, and there's Dr. Saeed too. Give us a second too. Dr. Saeed has joined us from Egypt. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saeed. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing fine, and I am so happy that you have joined us. We just started, our discussion, and we're speaking about the guardian, how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no woman may conduct the marriage contract of another woman, and no woman can conduct the marriage contract on behalf of herself, because the fornicatress and the adulteress, they are the ones who arrange things on their own. So we were just discussing how the woman must have a guardian, and the guardian must be Muslim, and the guardian must be male. Would you like to comment on that? Go ahead.
Still, I will follow you, and I can speak after you, inshallah.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, Sheikh Haytham, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The importance of the guardians and the father or the brother or the uncle or the Muslim leader, he can be the guardians. But first of all, if her father is available, he can be the guardians on the first step, or the elder brother, or one of her direct relatives like uncle or the brother of her mother, or her one of direct family. And it's very important to have him on the marriage, upon the marriage contract. He will guide her and help her how to choose and select the right person for herself and perform within a real good Islamic marriage. And many mistakes happen because of neglecting of guardians, like the wali. And if she decide to not to have one of her family members guardian and have someone stranger, then it will be always a conflict later on in the future. So inshallah, Sister Layla, there is a more questions about what is his enroll in it. Can you give us an hands up, please?
Yes, we do have some questions here from a couple of the sisters about the guardianship. Sister Lucy, would you like to ask your question about guardianship, the wali?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, like for me, for instance, I don't have a guardian. So when I don't have a guardian, who steps in? And the man, I haven't talked to the man of the masjid. So I took my shahada with one of my sisters, and then I went to the masjid. He gave me my shahada again. But since the COVID has come in, we don't go to the masjid as much as we would normally do. So is he still my guardian, or do I go to any masjid for the man? How does that work?
Yes, Sister Laila, do you want to answer or I can answer?
didn't have وسلم قال السلطان ولي من لا ولي له. مش عارف بقى ترجمة ازاي.
The translation for this, Sister Laila, is that marriage will not be valid if there is no guardians. So he's saying that you have to have a guardian, and he can be the imam of the masjid or a Muslim leader in her community.
Okay, alhamdulillah. You get that, Sister Gracie? So it can be a Muslim leader, the imam of your community can be your guardian. Okay. And
Or
also,
someone,
yes.
or someone, Sister Laila, someone she trust or you can trust, but he should be a Muslim.
Should be a Muslim and have عدالة. يعني not everyone يشترط إنه يكون لديه العدالة ولديه يكون مأمون وسط الناس. يعني مش أي حد.
Okay, so he should be a real Muslim, Sister Laila, a real Muslim, a Muslim of justice, a man who pray, of course, 5 times. He's a real Muslim. He practices Islam in a perfect manner, and he should be a person we can trust, and we can, when he says something, is the right thing. So he can be a responsible Islamic person.
Alhamdulillah.
And if she want to visit Islamic center or a mosque or just like that, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, alhamdulillah. And here's another question too. We have Sheikh this sister, she's born Muslim. She says her father, her Abu, doesn't want her to marry someone. So can she choose to replace him with someone else, such as an imam of a masjid, so she can marry the man she wants? Her father told her no, that he does not want her to marry this man. She wants to know, can she replace her father as her wali with the imam of the mosque, just so she can marry who she wants?
لو ترجم لنا يا شيخ هيثم انا ما فهمتش قوي.
هي عندها مشكلة مع أبوها. أبوها والدها رافض الزواج من هذا الشخص لأسباب معينة لم تذكر. هل هي تستطيع أن تذهب إلى إمام المسجد أو شيخ المسجد ليحل محل الوالد؟
أبوها مسلم؟ أبوها مسلم؟
دقيقة خلينا نفهم.
Yes.
Sister Layla?
Yes, he's Muslim. Her father's Muslim.
Yes, his father is a Muslim. The main reasons why her father is objecting, there is any serious reason, like example, is that person doing something that her father knows very well and he is afraid from, or?
She says he's not the same culture she's from, and her father doesn't believe he can provide for her as he should.
Okay, brother Dr. Said, أبوها بيقول إنه هذا الرجل لا يستطيع أن يقوم بتلبية الواجبات الأساسية المطلوبة من الزوج الرجل لأمور المعيشة، وإنه هذا الشخص مش شخص يعتمد عليه أو صاحب مسؤولية إنه يفتح بيت وإنه يقوم بكامل الواجبات الأساسية المطلوبة.
له الحق، لا تستطيع، مش من حقها انها تروح تسقط ولايته، لان عندنا في الفقه حاجه اسمها الكفاءه في النكاح، ان يكون في كفاءه، ان تكون مكافئه ليه في المسك، مكافئه ليه في الناحيه العلميه، مكافئه ليه في الناحيه الماديه، وله الحق في الرفض طالما لم يتعنت او كل ما يجي لها عريس يرفضه، مش من حقها انها تذهب لحد تاني وتسقط ولايته.
Okay, Sister Laila, Dr. Saeed just said if her father believed that he is not able to open a home and be a responsible, and he doesn't have the full means to be able to provide the basic to expense like food, shelter, and her necessarily like medication, and become a responsible for this marriage. She cannot drop her father as the guardians. She has to talk to her father, and she's not allowed in our fiqh Islami, in our aqidah, in our religion, to seek someone else and ignore the father because he has a good reason to block her from marrying a person who is not responsible. But we need to make sure that her father is sure about what he's saying. Like you said, her father believed that he is not, or he will not be able to cover the basic expense. And like example, like you have a house, you have a shelter, like you have everything, medication, food, everything. So you can technically, like a person who has all these basic needs, he can be able to get married. What is exactly her father told her about him?
And also she said it's the race issue too, because he's of a different race and culture than hers too.
Race and culture, there is a difference. Like some people, they live completely different than other people. So her father might be extremely afraid and worried that she will not be able to live the environment because her father raised her up in a way completely different than that person, traditional and culture and way of living. So he might be afraid that he doesn't want his daughter to be married, and after a couple of years, another 2 children, whatever, she get divorced, and then she's sitting in front of him, and he's trying to fix the damage happened. So Sister Laila, it's very like difficult situation. We have to, like this situation, we have to talk to her father and find out explanation, and her father needs to be talking to the imam and the sheikh, but she cannot remove her father unless there is a good reason.
And if he has a reasonable reason, he will refuse this marriage. يعني if he refuse this marriage, عايزين نقول انه مع الحق انه يرفض طالما معه اسباب وجيهه لرفض النكاح ده، طالما معاه اسباب وجيهه من اختلاف التعليم مثلا، هي تعليمها اعلى منه فدي بيخاف انه يحصل طلاق بعد كده، او ان هو مثلا اقل منها من الناحيه الماديه، اقل منها من الناحيه العلميه، عنده اسباب نفسيه بيرفضوا عشانها، مثلا اقل ذكاء منه، فده يسرع في موضوع الطلاق، فمن حقه في هذه الحاله انه يرفض الزواج.
Her father, he have a complete Islamic reason to block the marriage. If he believe there is a mental issue, or there is a problem between both of them. So there is an echo in your Zoom meeting.
Yeah, just what you can do is mute your, they can hear you through my phone. So you can mute your sound in here. You mute your mic and your sound icon in here, and it won't be that echo no more. Yeah. Because they can hear you through my phone.
Okay, now it's much better.
But turn
Can
your
you hear-
mic on in here. Turn
Yeah.
your mic on in the club.
Club, okay, 1 second. Let me remove this.
Turn your phone mic on in the club.
One second. Yeah, I know how to fix it. Just put this away.
Let's hear you.
Yeah.
Let's hear you talk.
1 second. Now it's
You're not on in the
good. Can you
club.
hear me now?
Turn your mic on your phone in your club. He's not, here's what happened.
Can you hear me,
Sister
Sister?
Okay, hold on. And whoever this is, let me stop her. And
One
let
second.
me replace me.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, Sheikh Haitham, what happened? Did you freeze up in the club?
Yes,
You turned your mic off in here, but we can't hear you on club now.
you
Talk on the
can.
Clubhouse
Okay, 1 second.
on your phone. Your mic
I
is
can-
off.
He's still muted.
Yeah, he's muted. You muted yourself on club. He's in my Zoom too, Sheikh Said.
To
I wish you
to unmute
I wish
in the
you could
Clubhouse?
join Zoom too, so we could see you on camera. That's what he's
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, he's running 3 computers.
Okay, 1 second, 1 second.
Okay.
Can,
Great.
And
can,
I got a
can
lot
you
of
hear
people in
me
here
on the
listening to
Zoom?
you on Facebook and in Zoom. It's such an honor to have you here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sheikh Haitham, look.
Yes. Yes.
Put your mic on in here then, since he doesn't know how to do. He done muted
Yeah, he did it.
himself, but turn on your phone. Put your phone on.
Okay.
He doesn't hear us on the phone.
Yeah, he's muted.
Let me do this.
Let me go back to the iPod.
Type, see if he can see it. Visor, type for him to talk that he's muted on his phone. There you go. Now we can hear you.
1 second. Let's put this up right. Bluetooth.
انت شغل سماعه جنبك يا شيخ.
ليا أنا الحين ثواني.
Guys, hang on with us. Okay.
الصوت واضح الحين؟
No.
ممتاز.
Okay, now we
ممتاز.
can hear
خليني
you.
على الكلاب هاوس لانه اذا شغلت الزوم الدنيا بتخرب. خليني على
خلينا
خلينا على
هنا.
الزوم. خلينا هنا. طيب نرجع على للموضوع اللي انت حكيته. اخر جملة انه احنا حنترجم لها نقولها انه اذن الوالد مطلوب. اذا الوالد عارف انه هذا الشخص حالته النفسية وحالته العقلية وحالته المادية وعمله وكله على بعضه هيك لا يصلح لهذا الزواج،
من
هو
حقه
متأكد من حقه يرفض، ومش من حقها تروح على شيخ ولا تستأجر شخص معين
ولا
بالخط.
تسقط ولايته. لا
لا
ليس من
تسقط
حقها هذا.
تسقط
النبي صلى الله عليه
ولايته.
وسلم قال: أيما
نعم.
امرأة نكحت نفسها بغير إذن وليها فنكاحها
نعم.
باطل.
نعم، وهذه المصيبة اللي بتحصل هنا في نورث أمريكا، في
الغرب.
شمال أمريكا. نعم، في الدول
يدفعوا
الغربية.
فلوس ويسقطوا ولاية الأب كأنه مالوش أي دور.
ويروحوا يعملوا زواج وبعد سنتين يجيب أولاد وكذا، وبعدين تعال حل لنا المصيبة هاي. عندي 3 أولاد وهذاك هرب وهات هي المصيبة.
طب ترجم لهم المصيبة.
يعني دلوقتي Sister Laila.
Yes. Oh, yes, I'm here. Yes.
Okay. See, let's clear it up. Dr. Said, he said very clearly, if her father have a good reason that he is mentally or he cannot take care of her and open a home and be responsible, and he's sure about it, she cannot go to any person and remove him and replace him with an imam or a sheikh or anybody, unless there is really a good reason. And if there is a good reason, she has to talk with the imam and mufti and scholar to talk to her father and fix this problem. It should be through her father. We cannot escape the father just because that I think maybe my father is wrong about his way of thinking, or because there is a misunderstanding. I think you got my message,
Yes.
Sister Laila.
Yes. Do you guys understand that you cannot fire your father? Your father, there's no man who's going to love you unconditionally like your father. So unless your father is mentally ill or has some type of mental disability, you cannot replace him with any other man. Because the love that the father has for you is like no other man ever will. And even with the race thing, as they were saying, and culture, do you know how many marriages end up in divorce because our lifestyles are not the same? The lifestyle here, even in America, is different than the lifestyle in Canada. So can you imagine how it would be marrying someone from a totally different continent? So your father has your best interest. So what the Sheikh is saying is, unless there's a reason like mental illness or something like that, your father, you cannot replace him. So Sheikh Said, the sister wants to know, well, in the case of a person like herself, if she were to have married without the father's approval and let some imam do it, is her marriage valid? You understand, Sheikh Said? Does he understand, Haytham? Brother Haytham?
يعني هي تزوجت من غير علم وأبوها، صح ولا؟ You mean she's married without
Yes.
your father?
Even though her father told her no, she went and did it anyway. So is the marriage valid?
She did it?
Yes, anyway. Even though her father said no.
Oh. This marriage is not lawful.
There you go. You guys see why it's important to learn the laws of Islam? So the marriage is not lawful. So she's saying now, in this case, what should she do to make it lawful?
She can
المفروض تتكلم مع ابوها صح؟
هي بتقول لك ان هو هي بتقول ان هو اتجوزها خلاص. بتقول لا، بتقول في حاله
لا
ان هو
لا لا
اتجوزها
لا
بالفعل.
لا 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 بتقول في حالة انه هي هتروح وتجيب شيخ ولا تجيب امام ويعمل لها الزواج. حيكون هذا الزواج في المستقبل صحيح ولا غير صحيح؟
لا لا، انا قلت لا، قلت غير، قلت لا، قلت لا، لا مش مباح، لا حرام، هذا زنا.
Okay, Sister Laila,
Yes.
her father, we have to talk to her father and find out the main reasons why he's not allowing this marriage. And if he has a good reason and he has like evidence and he's sure about it that because of these reasons, she can't she can escape her father. And if she try to escape and go get an imam or a sheikh, this marriage is not valid. It's invalid. She can't like you can't go for a marriage without a father permission. And we need to be sure 100% that her father has a good reason. If he has a good reason, she can't escape him. Like you can't ignore your father.
Yeah, so the bottom line, sisters, I want you guys to understand this is a bad situation that this sister has herself in. You know, Allah makes the laws for our betterment. And since she chose to disregard the laws of Allah and do it her way, the marriage is not valid. And the only way she can make it right, as the sheikhs are saying, is, you know, she'd have to sit down with a person who specializes in marriage, a scholar that specializes in marriage, with herself, her husband, and the father, and hope that they can basically convince the father, well, that since she did it, you know, and they can redo it to try to make it right. But the bottom line, sisters, you cannot bypass your father for anyone else, you know, and this is a big problem here in America. People are switching walis, they're switching their guardianships because one guardian tells you no, they want to switch and find somebody to tell you yes. You know, this is a bad problem, subhanAllah. And here's another question too. This is from a sister on Facebook. She says, the guardian, even if you're 50 or 60 years old, must you still have a guardian? Does it not matter how old the woman is? Must she still have a guardian? This is her question.
ما عندهاش ولي يعني؟
شيخ دكتور سعيد بتقول ان هي كبيرة بالعمر و Sister Laila, she's old, and her guardian is still alive or not?
Yes.
Her father is alive?
Yes. She said, is there a cutoff age? A woman has to have a guardian. Is there an age to cut off, or does she just have to have it? It doesn't matter what the age.
تفضل شيخ دكتور سعيد.
She is still virgin?
Yes, the guardian is still here. Yes.
No, she never married before?
Oh no, she's been married. She's been married before.
سبق لها الزواج، هي كبيرة بالعمر وأبوها موجود. هل تريد إذن من أبوها كولي للزواج؟
لا.
Yes, he said yes. If her father is alive, doesn't matter if she's 80 years old or 70 or 60, she still needs to talk to her father. He needs to know about it, and he needs to accept.
Exactly, guys. You guys see, Allah makes these rules. Yes, go ahead, Sheikh. Go ahead.
النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عندما أراد أن يتزوج أم سلمة وكانت متزوجة من قبل، وطلب من عمر ابنها عمر بن أبي سلمة، وكان صغيرا، أن يكون ولي لأمه بالزواج من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، مع العلم أن أم سلمة كانت سبق لها الزواج من قبل، ولكن لم يكن أحد أسلم من عائلتها وقتئذ، فجعل عمر وليها. خلاص ترجم لها بقى.
There is a story he's saying, Dr. Said, that in the Prophet time, there is a companion, Sahaba, and they ask for a wali, the guardians, to take a place. So they are always a needs of guardians. So he's giving us an example. So Sister Laila, for this subject of guardians, there is many hadith sharif as evidence. We need to collect them all and make a special class for that. Just to talk about the hadith sharif, all the hadith sharif talks about guardians and the evidence in the Sunan Nabawiyya Sharifa about it. Just to focus on that part of guardians, how it is important.
Exactly. Exactly, sisters. And again, this is for our betterment. You know, Allah makes these conditions for our betterment because we women, we're so emotional. Even though you 60, 70 years old, we get so romantically involved with the idea of love that we may not think about things like providing and maintenance and religiousness. So that's the role of the guardian. He's to look out for your betterment, you know, to make sure that the man that you're marrying is someone that can protect you, provide for you, maintain you, to have your back. Because we women get so caught up with the idea of being in love that we don't look for certain qualities. So it's for our betterment. And that's why it doesn't really matter, you know, about age. You have to have the guardian, basically. Okay, so now that's the first condition of the valid marriage contract. And then we talked about not only must there be a guardian, and as you guys can see, that's a struggle right there, but also there should be a mahar, a dowry. And a lot of people ask, what's the proof? Well, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, there is no marriage without a mahar. There is no marriage without a dowry. And what's the purpose of the dowry? The dowry is chosen by the wife, and it can be anything that she agrees to. And the purpose of the dowry is to have something to fall back on in case the marriage does not work out. And so now I'm going to turn that over to Brother Haytham. Any comments you have on the dowry, Brother Haytham? Go ahead.
Yes, دكتور سعيد, بالنسبة للمهر في عليه أي شروط ممكن نتكلم عنها؟
المهر إن يكون لا حد الأقل ولا حد الأكثر. المهم ألا يكون على شيء محرم. يعني مثلا تزوجها على أن يشتري لها خمر، أو أن يتزوجها على أن يعطي المخدرات أو كذا. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أقلهن مهرا أيسرهن مهرا أكثرهن بركة. كلما اختفى المغالاة في المهر كلما كان الزواج أكثر استقرارا وأكثر بركة.
الحد الأدنى شيخنا، في حد أدنى للمهور؟
الحد الأدنى قالوا 3 دراهم، يعني حاجات بسيطة، مش لا حد لأقله ولا حد لأكثره.
اوكي، انا حنعمل ميوت للمايك عشان يسمعونا. خلي ميوت للمايك شيخ دكتور سعيد. Sister Layla, we are just asked Dr. Saeed, and he said there is the mahar should be something from halal, so it should be a halal money first of all. Like he can't be a friend of like a drug dealer and he give him like $10,000 and said, here, this is money, you can give it to them and say that's from your side, and that's the mahar and that's the dowry, and they should be more than happy to accept it. The money needs to be originally from 100% halal halal place. So it should be from his own work or from halal source. Second, he said there is no minimum or maximum, but he said the less the better. Like if it's like the minimum in where you live is like 5,000 is not too much, and it's not too less. It's like okay, then that's fine. Not to be too like 50,000. That's too much. Like as we said before, it depends on you and his income. It depends where he live. Like where I live in the city of Ottawa, people start from 3,000, 5,000, 4,000, you know. It depends on the family, 7,000. It depends what he can afford, what they are planning to do with the mahar. So it's all comes as discussion. And you can, if you have more comments, let us know, please.
Yes, we have a question here from one of the sisters. She's from the African culture. And she said, as part of their culture, she's Somalian. She said, in my culture, the men in our families take our dowry. We don't get it. They take the dowry for themselves and divide it amongst themselves. They don't give any of it to us. You know, if we petition against it, they may disapprove of the marriage. So oftentimes we just go ahead and let them take the money so we can get married. What can we do in cases such as this?
Okay, we'll mute your mic in Clubhouse, please. دكتور سعيد، في عندهم بالجالية الصومالية لما يندفع المهر للأب أو للأخ العائلة بياخدوا المهر وما بيعطوها إياه، يعني بيحرموها من إنها تستفيد منه. ف وإذا هذا شرطهم، إذا بدهم الولي يوافق على الزواج، شرطه إنه هو يستولي على المهر وما يعطيها إياه. فبتسأل إذا في طريقة إنهم يقدروا يعالجوا هذا الموضوع. تفضل دكتور سعيد.
هذا السحت، هذا من الكبائر، هذا أكل أموال الناس بالباطل. قال سبحانه وتعالى: ولا تأخذوا منه شيئا وكيف تأخذونه. وقال تعالى: أتيتم إحداهن قنطارا فلا تأخذوا منه شيئا. الخطاب هنا للأزواج وللأولياء. وبعدين الله سبحانه وتعالى: أتيتم إحداهن قنطارا فلا تأخذوا منه شيئا تأخذونه بهتانا وإثما مبينا. الآية في سورة النساء تقريبا 20 أو حاجة زي كده.
Okay. Sister Layla, Dr. Saeed, he give the answer from Quran Kareem. There is a verse in Quran Kareem in Surah An-Nisa, the woman surah, and he said, I think he's 20 or 21. It says clearly in Quran Kareem not to take anything from the dowry. Can you please check it out in English language? And please, thank you.
Yes, it says that, but she said, what do? We know that it's wrong. And we try to they try to tell their families that this is against Islam, but their families don't care about Islam. They do their cultural thing and take it anyway. So she said, we end up with no dowry. The dowry goes to the men and the family. And we have no dowry. And they're all saying it's sisters here. I have sisters from Somalia, sisters from Niger, sisters from Mali. They said it's happening in all their African countries. The men take the money and divide it amongst themselves. They don't give any of it to the women. And they don't want to hear about what Allah says. It's culture, the African culture. So what should they do?
Okay. دكتور سعيد، هي
دي ثقافة مجتمع، ما مش هنقدر نقول فيها حاجة. ثقافتهم هم يأكلوا سحت، فهي تعلمهم أن اللي بيعملوه ده سحت وأكل الأموال الناس بالباطل، وأن هي لن تسامحهم في هذا وخلاص، هذا ما تملكه. لكن هي الدفع لها مهر وزواجها صحيح.
Sister Layla, he said the marriage is valid regardless they steal the mahar, the dowry or not, because they accept the marriage, the father and the brother of the family accept the marriage, they receive the mahar, the dowry, they steal it away from her, the marriage is valid. So this is their culture and this is the way they are doing it. But in my mind, the best way she can be send a message to the person to make it as less as possible, since she's losing it anyway.
Yeah.
That she can tell him and privately to make it less as possible. So if he's willing to give out $10,000, he will tell them, listen, this marriage will take a place on $1,000. So they can steal that $1,000, and the rest of the money he can keep it for her when they get to live together. He can give her whatever he wants, and that's the only way to escape this conflict. Yeah, your opinion, Sister Layla.
Yeah, this is, the Maori is supposed to go to the woman, guys, but this is one of the signs of the last hour, where Islam becomes strange, where we don't abide by the Sunnah. The marriage is still valid, and subhanAllah, that's all you women can do to get married is to give up denounce the dowry. Then there's nothing you can do. Allah is going to punish them for violating his laws. And like Sheikh Haytham is saying, a good idea would be to make the dowry as little as possible, since it's not going to go to you, and we're not selling women into marriage. This is the same as selling women. Okay, so just make the dowry as small as possible, but the good thing is that your marriage is valid. And for those of you who are in our Zoom room, if you sisters would have a question that you would like to ask, let me know so we can give you the mic while we have Sheikh Haytham here, and also we're graced with Dr. Saeed. So any comment, if you want the mic, let me know, raise your hand. But if not, until
الآية رقم 20.
Yes.
رقم 20 من سورة النساء.
Can you read it, Sister Layla? Surah An-Nisa, the woman surah, number 20. Can you read it in English? Is it possible
Yes,
for them?
on. Let me get someone to do it. Yes, can one of you sisters pull it up? Because you see I got 4 computers. Could Faiza,
I'm working on it.
pull it up for him in the verse? We can read it in English. It's very important.
What, 124 you said?
Isra, are you
Did
doing
he say
it? Hold on.
124?
I'm getting ready to put my, so I can hear you. Wait a minute. Go ahead, Isra.
Nisa 24.
124?
24, I think he said.
Okay. 24
20.
said,
20 نساء 20.
Nisa, Surah Nisa, verse 20.
okay.
Read it in Arabic and then English, Isra. Yeah.
So in English it says, and if you wish to exchange one wife for another, and you have given unto one of them a sum of money, however great, take nothing from it. Would you take it by the way of, I think it means calamity and open wrong?
Okay, yes, you see that, guys? Allah is clear. It's supposed to go to the women, but if they're taking it, look at the sin that the family's committing. This is a sin. Allah gave women the right to that dowry. So if that's the only thing that you guys can do to get married, I mean, look at the punishment that the family is going to have to account for. You guys hear that? And
We're not completely without nothing though, Sister Layla. The family do ask for money, but the wife still asks for her dowry. She also gets, a large amount of gold that's worth thousands of dollars from the husband. So she's still getting some kind of gift from him, even though, she's not able to get all of the price that she's asking for. The family just like to speak on behalf of the woman.
Yeah, well, just I would do just like they say. I'd make it small, as minimum as possible. Because still, whether I don't want part of a gift, I want what Allah has said I have the right to have completely. If I can't get what I get completely, and you want to sell me off still, I would do just like they say, make it as minimum as possible, because that's nothing but selling your daughters. And this is something that Islam fought against. This is something that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam outlawed. But like he said, we will revert back to the way it used to be before Islam, where you sell your daughters for a miserable price. You know, so I would make the dowry as minimum as possible. Okay, and also there's a question here, Sheikh. A sister wants to know, what are the cases in which you can give the dowry back? To, you know, the woman wants to give the dowry back. She wants to know, what are the cases in which she can give the dowry back? I don't understand her question, but that's what she's asking.
1 second before we go to the second question, let's clear up the first question. It's not only in her culture they are stealing the dowry, the mahar. It's now every culture, every country, you will see, like, I give you example. I give out anywhere, any country, I give out $1,000. And after marriage, after she lived with me, I told her, okay, did you buy what you need in that $1,000 or $10,000 I give out to your father? She said, no, he just give me out of it, like, if it's 1,000, he give me only like 500. Of it 10,000, he give me just only maybe 2,000, and he kept the rest. So it's happening for many years, and it's always happening. So now, if she has more than a sister and she see that happening, she can tell him in a back channel, listen, go the minimum, do it as minimum. If you are willing to give me like 5,000, 10,000, 8,000, do it as minimum, minimize it. So do it like 1,000 or less, but they will not accept less than 1,000. So do it 1,000. And then when I come and live with you, we can go to the market and buy what I'm missing. Because if you give it to them, I'm not taking it. I cannot get myself what my basic needs. So the whole thing is, the whole purpose of this mahar, the dowry, is not valid because they are stealing it. So they can do it in the back channel. So please explain to them, this is always done in the back channel, because if she knows 100% that her parents or her whatever, the guardians is going to take it away or steal it away, she needs to work it out with her future husband. Thank you.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, this is a big problem in a lot of cultures, not, you know, many of them. And then we have the American culture. The American culture.
You're on mute, Sister Layla.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah, this is a big problem, even in, you know, in all cultures. And in the American culture, the women don't even ask for a dowry. That's what's so crazy. They ask for a book that they can get free, or a prayer rug. So that just shows how distorted, you know, Islam really has become. Okay, and then for the second question, this sister wants to know, what are the cases in which you can give the dowry back?
في حالة الخلع, if she refused the marriage, she didn't able to complete this marriage relation.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. You guys got that?
Sister Layla, he just said if she changed her mind. So let's do an example. I came to a lady and her father and everything. I gave out $10,000. Okay, and after that, we never lived together. We never had any relationship. I just paid the thing to she get herself ready. If she changed her mind, she doesn't want to continue with the marriage, she needs to give the dowry back. She needs to give it back. That's right, Dr. Said.
احنا هقول لك احنا عندنا عدة حالات لرد المهر كمان. المهر اللي هو المهر، احنا عندنا حاجة اسمها المهر، ما اعرفش عندكم هل في المهر بيبقى مؤخر ومعجل ولا بيدفعوا كله، انا مش عارف النظام ايه. بس بشكل عام إذا حصل طلاق قبل الزواج، يعني تم العقد ولكن لم يتم الدخول الزواج، يعني مش يتم البناء أو تتم العلاقة الزوجية، ففي هذه الحالة لها نصف المهر، لها نصف المهر فقط، مش المهر كله. لكن لو عايز ترد المهر كله كاملا، ده في حالة الخلع، تزوجوا حتى لو أنجبوا، حصل إنجاب أو كذا، وهي قالت لا أنا مش هقدر أكمل الزواج ده، والرفض حصل منها هي، فعليها أن ترد له المهر كاملا. وأظن هي تقصد الحالة دي.
Sister Laila, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, 1 second. He said exactly what I mentioned again. He said that if they have the marriage contract, okay, but they never lived together, they never been in one room together, and he changed his mind, like he doesn't want her, he doesn't want to live with her. He tell her, you look what, I give you $10,000. We had the marriage contract, marriage license, marriage certificate, everything is done legally and Islamically. We are married, but we never live together. We never like slept together, okay? No jima. Then he can take 50% only back. If they married, they make the wedding, everything's done, they live together, even for a night, and they slept together, and then she wake up in the morning and she said, oh, I changed my mind, I don't like this marriage. Then he said she has to give the money in full back. She owe him the whole fund, the money. So there is two different ways, but I need to check with the sheikh about that. Now, before they live together, before they live marriage life together, what about if she changed her mind? So he gave her $10,000, they make the marriage license, the wedding is still not there, the night of the wedding, like they did, like they haven't lived together, they never slept together. Now she changed her mind, because now if he changed his mind, she can keep half. But if she changed her mind, I need to ask Dr. Said.
If she requested to divorce her, yeah?
Yes, Dr. Said. If she changed her mind before he lived together, before he touched her.
Before Gima.
Yes, before Gima, yes.
ترد، يجب عليها انها ترد عليه المهر كله.
Sister Laila, he said, if she changed her mind, the female changed her mind before they live together, before they sleep together, she need to give the money back 100%.
Exactly.
Complete. $10,000 has to go back to him.
Yes.
If he changed, the male changed his mind, it's 50%.
50. Okay, yes.
Right, Dr.
Yes.
Said?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I know too. Yeah.
Can you hear us, Dr. Laila?
Yes, yeah, that's what I was taught too.
So
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
can you say it in English all together, all at once, so we know that it's clear?
Yes, if they
Can you say
don't, if he pays the dowry, but she
Mr.
decides,
Laila, can you hear us?
oh, I'm sorry. If they pay the dowry, if he pays the dowry and she decides that she does not want to go through with the marriage, she must return all of the dowry. Does everybody understand that? But if he decides that he doesn't want to marry her now, then he must pay her half of what the dowry was. Does everybody understand? Okay. And Kula is an Arabic.
Well, 1 second, Sister Laila, 1 second. She already received the money, so she has to return 50%.
Okay,
Return.
yes, okay,
Because
okay. If she received it, okay, yeah, we got it.
Before Jima, yeah.
Yes,
before Jima, before sleeping together.
Yeah.
After sleeping is another story.
right, exactly. Okay, y'all got
Right.
that? I think they got it now. If she initiates the divorce, she returns it all, right? This is what they're asking. If the woman is married, they slept together, she wants a khula, she wants a divorce, she must return all the dowry, right?
Exactly.
Y'all
The
got it?
difference between the sleep together and before they sleep together and after they sleep together, it changed completely. Before they sleep together, 50%.
Exactly.
After they sleep together, after Jima, 100%. You
Exactly.
got the point of?
Yeah. Sister Anissa, we answered it. If she,
And we have
if
to
she
get- and
asks for a divorce, she has to turn, mar is the Arabic word for dowry. So if she decides, khula is the Arabic word for a divorce initiated by a woman. If a woman gets married and initiates a divorce, she has to return all the dowry back to the man unless he decides he doesn't want it. You got it? Everybody got that? So if you sisters are divorcing your husbands, you have to return that dowry unless he decides that he doesn't want it. And you can agree to a payment plan, just to let your sisters know. Yes. Okay.
Sister Laila,
Yes.
Dr. Said wants to mention something important. Can we mute?
Yeah.
Dr. Said, go ahead.
Yes.
Dr. Said, you can go ahead. You want to say something?
we have يعني عندنا فرق بين ان يكون الرفض منها او من ان كان منه هو وقبل الزواج يعطيها نصف المهر، ان كان الرفض هي منها سواء كان قبل الدخول او بعد الدخول تعطيه المهر كاملا فقط.
He just want to clear it up that they sit together, they made the marriage contract, he paid the full amount of al-mahar, the dowry. If he, after a week or after a minute, changed his mind, he needs to take only 50%.
You see that?
He has the right of 50%. If she changed her mind later on, he has the right of 100%. Is that
Exactly.
clear, Sister Laila?
Yes, yes, beauty. That's the beauty of Islam. MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sister Omar here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm asking even if they have children, does she have to give the whole dowry? Like even
Okay.
if they have children?
She's asking, what if you got married and you had children? Then the woman decides she wants a divorce. Does she have to return the whole dowry?
After children, another condition. 1 second, I'll check with Dr. Saeed.
Okay.
It's completely different scenario. It's completely different subject now.
Okay.
1 second. Dr. Saeed, سامعني؟
مع حضرتك اتفضل.
حكت
دول حالة وجود اطفال.
ايوه صار في اطفال. اتفضل.
وطلبت الطلاق هي ولا هو اللي طلب؟
ايوه الخلع الطلاق تبعها. نعم.
طلبت هي الطلاق، ليس لها شيء من المهر وعليه النفقة على الأولاد.
يعني المهر انتهى موضوعه، ما في ترجيع خلاص.
لا طالما خلعت، طالما هي اختلعت منه ما لها مهر.
بترجع اللي دفعه ولا انتهى الموضوع؟
بترجع اللي دفعه، وهو يجب عليه النفقة على أولاده بالمعروف لحد الصبيان، لحد لو في صبيان ذكور يبقى لحد البلوغ ما يقدروا يشتغلوا بنفسهم، والبنات لحد ما تتزوج يجب عليه النفقة عليها.
طيب يعني إذا دفع مثلا $10,000 وتزوج وجاب منها أولاد، إذا طلبت الخلع لازم يرجع $10,000 يا شيخ سعيد؟
ما في لابد. نعم.
لابد. أوكي دقيقة. Sister Laila, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Dr. Saeed cleared it up. If they are married, they have children, after they have children, she said, I want to get divorced. I don't want to continue with the marriage. She has to give him back the dowry. She has to pay it back. He is responsible for children support. The children support is monthly payment. He's responsible for that. But he has the right
To the dowry.
to say, give me,
Mhm.
example, I paid you before marriage,
Right.
Dory, I gave you cash, $10,000. She is owing him the $10,000 unless
He
there is
refuses.
other reason for the marriage to be cancelled or to go for divorce. I will ask Dr. Saeed and I'll come back to you. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Or you translate this part, but there's conditions. But I think before we translate, we need to know the condition. 1 second. دكتور سعيد، في حال انها طلبت الطلاق بعد الانجاب، بعد انجاب الاطفال، بسبب انه صار مخدرات او خمور او ارتد عن الدين الاسلامي، ما زال
الردة مختلفة. الردة لا، الردة حاجة تانية.
يعني اذا كفر او صار مخدرات او صار
لا، المخدرات ليست كالردة. الردة لها المهر كاملا، لا تعطيه شيئا. المخدرات وطلبت منه الخلع لسوء الخلق او لاستحالة العشرة او كذا، فهذا خلع ترد عليه المال الذي اخذته.
يعني اذا صار بيشرب سجاير وخمور وهذا من حقه يسترد المهر يا شيخ سعيد؟
نعم، يأخذ مهر وهذا ماله، لأنها هي التي رفضت الحياة معه، ويعوضها الله سبحانه وتعالى.
يعني الشيء الوحيد اللي بيسقط حقه في المهر الموت أو الكفر. الردة.
نعم.
أوكي.
طالما هي من طلبت الطلاق.
طيب. Sister Layla.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
The only way to avoid to pay back the mahar, the $10,000, for example, we said that as an example, is that he decide not to be a Muslim.
Right.
He said, I am not Muslim anymore.
Right.
I have nothing to do with the Islamic religion. I'm not Muslim.
Mhm.
I'm atheist.
Mhm.
I worship fire. I worship something else. I'm not a Muslim. Okay? I don't want to be a Muslim anymore. Then he has no right for mahar. But if he stay as a Muslim,
She has to pay
but
back.
he likes smoking cigarettes or smoking marijuana or taking or become lazy, not praying, like still a Muslim, but he's become he has a problem with his manners, with his behavior. He still have the right to take it back.
Exactly.
The only reason not to claim it back is if he leave Islam completely. He said he declared he's not a Muslim anymore.
Alhamdulillah.
أو حصلت الوفاة أو مات.
أو sister Lala, death, like he die, accident, he die, or he is not Muslim anymore.
Okay.
There's two only reason not to give it back. Not Muslim and he died.
Alhamdulillah. And this is good, guys, because you see, if Allah makes these laws because he knows us better than we know ourselves. If a woman is serious about divorce, she will say, here, I'll pay it back. I'll do what I have to. Because Allah knows that if a woman, Allah created women to be monogamous. We could stay with one man for our entire life, okay? And if a woman comes to you and pleading that she wants out of a marriage, that means that there's something wrong, that the marriage is bad. And if I'm going to tell you, I know I have to pay back 10,000, no problem. I'll get a job. I'll do what I have to. That's how the judge knows this woman is serious, that she's in a toxic situation, a toxic environment that she needs to get out of. But if the woman is one of the tasters that we speak about, and I hate to say it, there are a lot of tasters out there. These are women who get married just to be married, then they get divorced for no reason, just to marry another man and then divorce. These women would be like, wait a minute now, I ain't giving up my dowry. See, Allah knows, he sets these guidelines because he knows us and it's for our betterment. And that's why when you go to an Islamic judge, if a woman goes and asks for a divorce, they give it to her because they know she's not going to come to you wanting out of this marriage and willing to pay back all that money unless something is wrong. So you see that, guys, that's when the dowry is to be returned whenever the woman wants her freedom. You pay your way out of that. Okay? Everybody got that. And it doesn't matter whether you have children or not. Now, if the man apostates or if he dies, you are exempt from that. But 9 times out of 10, your husband is not an apostate. Okay, so you have to pay it back. And again, you can do a payment plan. The parties can agree to a payment plan. I can give you $100 a month until it's paid off. Okay, any other questions on?
Assalamu alaikum.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
there is another question, sister.
Go ahead.
One sister wants to know, like, is that okay for, like, if woman is not, like, the husband is not giving her all her rights, so is that okay for her to ask him, can he divorce her in Islam? Is that okay for her to tell him like, I want you to divorce me?
Are these the sisters in Niger that you're talking for? Okay, Sheikh Haytham, please explain to Dr. Saeed that we have a connection to Muslims living in the country of Niger, which is near Mali. And these women do not have any sheikh, to advise them. So they're on the phone with her asking these questions, and they appreciate this help. So can you let him know that these are women in the country of Niger live on the phone with her with these questions? And they have a few more for him to answer because they don't have any good sheikh where they are. And so what was the question again? Omar here, say it again so Brother Haytham can hear it. Say it again.
The question is, like, is that okay for a woman if the husband is not giving her all her right, and she talked to him, she make the like Imam of the Masjid talk to him to give her her right to fix the marriage, and he couldn't listen. So at the end, she stand up and tell him, give me my divorce. Is that okay for her to speak out of her mouth and tell him to give her divorce?
Did you get the question? She said, this is a woman who's married to a man who does not give her her rights as a wife or a woman. And she's been to the Imam and the man won't listen. So is it okay if she stands up for herself and demand to her husband for him to give her a divorce since he's not going to better the situation? And let him know these are women in Niger, in the country of Niger.
Okay, let's put it together. She wants to get divorced. She went to the Imam or to the scholar to help her with divorce, but he said, no, I'm not helping you. Now she goes back to her husband asking him to divorce her. Is that your question?
Yes, is that the question, Omar here?
No, that's not how the question is.
Okay, say it
The
again.
question is, like, is a husband and woman. She say he's not giving her her right, all her rights that Allah tell him to give her. So she keep talking to him to give her her right. She want to fix the marriage. She asked the Imam to talk between them so they can work out the issue and the husband can listen and give her her right. So she did this and the husband didn't listen. At the end, she's tired. She say, I want you to divorce me. I want to get out the marriage. So she's asking, is that okay that she open her mouth and tell him to divorce her? Because some people are saying in Islam, a woman cannot open her mouth and say to husband, divorce me. She will be cursed by Allah and the angel. So that's why she want to know exactly if she committed a sin or not.
Okay, in her culture, they say if a woman asks for a divorce, that she has the curse of Allah and the angels on her, but the woman has tried to work the marriage out, the man won't change. So is she being cursed by Allah and the angels for asking for the divorce? That's what I think she really wants to know. And again, let him know these are women in Niger. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
that's the
what she
question.
wants to know, because they're very much into their tribal cultures there. Their tribal cultures. Oh, Sheikh Haitham got disconnected. Oh my God, hold on. Oh, there he is. Okay.
We're back now.
Okay, you're back. Okay.
See, there is a mix-up now, because now, let's clear it up. There's two different issues. You said curse doesn't take a place unless he's saying to her, oh, let's pray our 5 times, and she doesn't want to pray her 5 times.
Yeah.
Let's not to go to a place where there's so much music, and this is not good for us. And then she
Okay.
doesn't listen, and she go.
Okay,
She
well,
doesn't
wait.
like.
This
This
is
is the problem. But
yeah, this is the
yes,
question.
go ahead.
In her
Yeah.
culture, in Niger, the country of Niger, they are
Yes.
told that if a woman asks for a divorce, she has the
Yes.
curse of Allah and the angels on her. We know that that's not true, but this is what her culture believes. So she's in a bad marriage, and she's
Yes.
tried to work the marriage out, but her husband won't change. So she said, I want a divorce. And
Yes.
she wants to know, she wants to hear from the sheikh, because they don't have that there. Is she being
Yes.
cursed by Allah and the angels for real because she's asking for a divorce? That's her question. Yeah.
I understand you 100%. The problem now, this sentence apply only if she has no good reason.
Right.
But now
right,
I
right.
will translate to Dr. Saeed, and I'll get back to you right away. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I see what he's saying now too. Yes.
Samani, Dr. Saeed? Dr. Saeed on the phone, Sister Laila.
Okay.
I have to wait for him,
Yes,
but
that's fine.
I just give you information is very important. The only time, and I think, and I believe you came to a Hadith Sharif in the past,
Yes.
talking about the situation that, example, 2 people are married, a man and a woman, they are married. They are living a normal life. There is no reason for the woman to divorce her husband, because he is making sure that everything is available.
Right.
The basics are available.
معلش انا كان معايا مكالمة. معلش.
Yes. دكتور سعيد، السؤال، هي طلبت الطلاق لأسباب قاهرة جدا، لأسباب مش يعني صعبة كثير، لا يوجد الأساسيات، غير متوفرة، ولا تستطيع أن تكمل حياتها الزوجية. في العادات والتقاليد عندهم بيقول لها عليك لعنة الله والملائكة والرسل والأنبياء، لأنه أنت طلبت الطلاق بشكل عام. شو المفهوم تبع طلب الطلاق بدون سبب أو طلاق مع سبب؟ شو هو المفهوم العام؟ ممكن تشرح لنا؟
طب هي ايه اسبابها؟ هل لا ينفق عليها مثلا؟ هل لا يعطيها حقوقها الشرعيه؟ العلاقه الزوجيه غير قائمه؟ يعني ايه اسبابها اللي هي بتقص؟ انت عارف ان ممكن ست تقول لك مستحيل العشره معاه، ويصبح في الاخر انه لا، ما ممكن تعيش معاه. فهل هي عايزه تختلع منه، عايزاه يخلعها، او هي عايزه تخلعه؟ طيب الاسباب ايه الاسباب القاهره اللي هي بتقول ان هي مش قادره تعيش عشانها؟ لو هي لا يعطيها حقوقها الشرعيه، لا يصلي، ينهاها عن الصلاه، ينهاها عن الاعمال الصالحه، في هذه الحاله ما عليهاش اسم في طلب الطلاق. لكن لو اسباب تافهه مثلا، بيزعق لها، بيشخط فيها، الحاجات دي غير مؤثره.
اوكي دكتور سعيد، خلينا اترجم لها. Sister Laila.
Yes, go ahead.
He wants to know the description of the reason, like she wants to get divorced. We understand that.
Right.
Because he doesn't provide her with the basic needs.
Right.
He understands that. but he's telling me
What her right?
I need an exact description.
Yes, he wants to know what rights are being violated. That's what I was going to ask her too. Omar here, can you ask the lady? Does he know that this is from Niger too? Because he that maybe if he know that part of the world, he'll know what they're how they need this. Can you ask her which of her rights is he not giving her? What does she mean when she said he doesn't give her rights? Like, does he not provide for her, maintain her? Can you explain what that is?
Yes, how she talked to me, she say he pay the rent, he pay all the bill, and then he give them food, and that's the only thing he did. He doesn't give her the rights for the woman and the husband, whatever she need.
He doesn't
Except
give her sexual relations?
what?
Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's the sexual
then
relations. And what else?
he doesn't take care of her. He doesn't take good care of her.
Emotionally.
So that's
you
the
mean.
only. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the only.
he pays the bills and everything like that, but he doesn't give her the sexual attention that she needs, basically, and the emotional attention and nurturing that she needs. You got it there, Nathan?
I understand you, Sister Laila. I understand you. It's very complicated,
Wait,
but
I'm gonna leave out and come back in, y'all, because you know they get like that with the okay.
Laila is not there. Oh, someone is. Sister Faiza is there. Can you hear us?
I'm still here.
Okay, you back?
Yeah, I just
went
left out and
and
went
came
out
back.
to come back in for the connection. Yes, did you get the question? He does everything
Yes.
for her except sexually. He doesn't sexually fulfill her obligations.
Yes, I got you. But the thing now, Dr. Saeed on the phone, but her situation is completely different. And we have this problem here in Canada happening a lot on the both sides of the people, you know. It's happening here a lot in Canada, that they don't sleep together at all and everybody is complaining about it.
Yeah, well,
And
the problem is men don't understand that women have rights over them too with that. It's a two-way street. I think it's a problem everywhere because I'm hearing it as a dia from a lot of women on my website too. Their husbands won't give them their sexual needs. Yeah.
it's very difficult situation from the both sides. Sometimes the man is
Okay,
complaining,
Yeah, go ahead.
sometimes the
Omar.
woman.
Go ahead.
So,
She
go ahead.
has, go ahead.
Say he doesn't care about doing clothes for her or her kid. All those obligations on him, he doesn't fulfill
He
any.
doesn't buy clothing for them either. She said he also,
For the-
not only does he not do the sexual, but he doesn't provide clothing for them either. Yeah.
She
So
says she has
he's
to work
poor.
and
He doesn't
have to
have
work
money,
and
right?
do-
Is he poor?
Is he
He doesn't have
poor?
a job?
Yeah, he have a job, he's working, but he only do clothes for himself. She says she have to work and clothe herself and clothe her kid.
He pays the rent and stuff like, and buys food, but he won't buy clothing for her or the children. And he won't give her sexual needs, won't meet her sexual needs.
Yes, I know. It's
Okay.
very difficult. Dr.
Yeah,
Saeed,
she have to work. She says she have to.
لك
She's
إياها؟
working.
انا اخر حاجه سمعتها ان هو لا يعطيها حقوقها الجنسيه، في حاجه تانية؟
تقول انه حكايه الملابس لها وللاطفال، هو بيدفع اجار البيت وبيجيب الاكل والشرب، بس لانها هي بتشتغل بيقول لها خلاص انت ملابس تبعتك وتبعت الاطفال دبريها من الشغل، اما الاجار البيت والاكل والشرب والحاجات الثانيه المقدور عليها، يعني حالته الماديه صعبه حسب ما انا بفهم. والشغله الثانيه اعتقد انه عنده مرض او عنده مشكله معينه مش عم بينام معاها بالطريقه اللي هي او بالمستوى اللي مطلوب عندها، وبدها تعمل الطلاق. ممكن تعطينا معلومات عن هذا الموضوع؟
اذا كان الطلاق بسبب انه لا ينفق عليها النفقه الكامله، فتحتسب الاجر عند الله سبحانه وتعالى انها تصبر عليه وتكمل ولا تطلب الطلاق. اذا كانت تريد الطلاق لانها تريد لا تقدر على عدم قدرته الجنسيه، او لا تستطيع الإكمال معه بهذه الصورة، مش قادرة تكمل بسبب ضعف الجنسي، فلها الحق في طلب الخلع. بس بعد استشارة الطبيب، لابد من الطبيب المسلم عشان ما تظلموش، طبيب الثقة تسأله، شوف لو عنده مرض جنسي يمنعه من إقامة العلاقة الجنسية مع العلاقة الزوجية، في هذه الحالة لها الحق في طلب الخلع وفي طلب الطلاق على حسب.
Tarjum, Dr. Haytham?
Okay, he said, if it is because they don't sleep together, they have no jima', then she has the right to ask for divorce. But before that, they need to go and see the doctor, the professional, to find out what is the medical reasons, and if he has a medical serious issue that he cannot do it anymore, he cannot make the jima', they cannot sleep together because of his medical problem, she has the right to seek for divorce. Okay?
Yeah.
And clothing for the children, since he can afford the rent and the basic foods and the other stuff, she can work it out with him if that's only the reason. But if the main reason is that because she needs her desire, like her sexual needs to be fulfilled, and he cannot do it because after they visit the doctor, they find out that he's disabled completely, like permanent disability, then she has the right to divorce.
Yeah.
If there is that clear, or you need more
Yes,
clarification?
that's clear. Yeah, the bottom line, sisters, when it comes to divorce, long as there's a reason, and we know that there was a female companion, she divorced because her husband was impotent. So that's a reason, but it has to be a reason is something that would endanger your soul or your life or something like that. So yes, those are reasons. Both of those issues are reasons. Whenever a man does not fulfill his obligation as defined by a law, that opens the door to divorce. And sex is an obligation, taking care of the kids and the home, those are obligations. So yes, and those wives' tales that we hear in some of these cultures, remember, I tell you guys all the time, if the cultural sayings contradict what Allah says, and we pay no heed to that. Allah loves everything that he made lawful. He only hates the things that he made unlawful. And these hadiths, whereas they say that anytime you get a divorce, the throne of Allah shakes, that hadith is not authentic. Allah doesn't hate anything that he made, lawful. Divorce is good and clean. Okay, that's why it's lawful. Allah says perhaps we hate something that we don't like. Okay, so yeah, she can seek a divorce, but as any time that she has a just reason like that. And so now what I want to do, guys, is to keep it moving. We're going to move on to the third condition. We talked
Sister
about,
Layla?
yes, go ahead.
I have a question that is related to whether the woman has to give the dowry back or not. If, like, for example, this woman, she asked for divorce because she feared for her life. The husband told her that I will kill you with a bullet in your head. And she felt scared, and then she left the home. And then after she asked the husband, either I will seek khula or you divorce me, you choose. And the husband decided to give the word, I divorce you after 2 months. Does that woman has to give the dowry back?
He divorced her. She didn't divorce him. The only time the woman returns the khula is, the mahar, is if she asks for a khula. If he said, I divorce you, then he divorced her.
Even if it's the woman who forced.
Yeah, if he said, I divorce you, she's divorced. A woman can't say that. We have to go to a judge to get a divorce.
Got it. So as long that he said, I divorce you, even though if the woman
he divorced her,
she doesn't have to pay the dowry back.
Right, right. You agree,
Exactly.
brother Sheikh Hatham? You agree with that, right? Did you hear me, Sheikh Hatham? Wake up.
1 second. 1 second. There is a breakup on the phone. 1 second.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if he issued the words of divorce, then he divorced her, because we can't just say I divorce you to a man. We have to go to a judge.
How many times does he have to say he divorced you before you're divorced?
One time. All he has to say is I divorce you. That's it.
And in the state of where there's abuse, mental, physical abuse, and she has to run away from her husband, do she have to give back the dowry?
If she's divorcing him, yes. If you run away and you seek a divorce, yes, you buy your freedom. That's how you know the woman is sincere. Yeah, if she's divorcing him, no matter what the situation is, if a woman divorces a man, she pays back the dowry. Whether he was beating you up and you divorced him, whether he was impotent and you divorced him, whether he just was ugly and you divorced him, you have to return the dowry. And like I say, you can go on to a payment plan with him. The parties can agree to a payment plan. Yes.
Sister Layla, make it easy, please. Our religion is to make it easy on
Right,
people.
right.
That's why we told you, if you want to marry, and he said, dowry, dowry, tell him, listen,
Mm-hmm.
if she doesn't need the money really between me and you, she tell him, okay, give me just $1,000. That's
$1,000.
enough.
Exactly.
So you can give it back anytime and walk away from this marriage.
Exactly.
Nothing.
You
You
guys
know,
hear that?
I'm not saying it to that encourage people to divorce, but I'm saying make it easy. If something for God's sake happen and you need to walk away and you need to give that money back, make it as less as possible that you can afford to give it back and leave. Okay?
Exactly. Exactly. You guys see that? Okay. Okay, so now let's move on to the fourth condition. We already talked about how in order for a marriage contract to be valid, there has to, number one, be a guardian over the woman. And we talked about the importance of that and why. And then secondly, there must be a dowry or a mahar. And then there's a third condition that our prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam put in force for us. And that is that the wedding, the marriage must be witnessed by two Muslims, two people. The prophet, and where's the proof of that? The prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there is no marriage contract unless there is a wali and two witnesses. Okay, Sheikh Hatham, you like to comment on that? The witnesses. And they must be Muslim, right? That's what you can start with that, because that's one of the questions here. Must the witnesses be Muslims? Yeah, you can start with that.
Okay. Yeah. Sheikh Saeed, Dr. Saeed, سامعني؟ دكتور سعيد سامعني؟
معك نعم تفضل مولانا.
هي حكت انه ان شاء الله يكون الشهود اثنان ويكونوا من المسلمين، وانه يكون موجود ولي الامر والمأذون الشرعي لحتى يتم الزواج. في بيانات اخرى ممكن نضيفها على هذه المعلومات؟
اذا كان لم يكن رجلان فرجل وامرأتان، مع يكونوا من محافظين، يكونوا ممن يشترط فيهم الإسلام والعدالة، يكونوا بيحافظوا على الصلاة، مش شراب خمور، ليسوا زناه، يكونوا ناس من أهل الصلاح. والأفضل سنة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يقيم عقود الزواج في المسجد، فممكن في المركز الإسلامي بحيث يشهدوا جمع من المسلمين.
لازم يكون إما رجلان أو رجل وامرأتان. هذا من أحد الشروط.
نعم.
شكرا.
الله يكرمك.
أذان الفجر يا دكتور سعيد، أذان الفجر.
ده أذان الفجر عندنا. نعم.
نعم، الحين راح تتحرك للمسجد إن شاء الله؟
ممكن 5 دقائق وأتحرك إن شاء الله، لو ما فيش شيء أمشي إن شاء الله.
دقيقة طيب ماشي.
أنا بس عايز أضع ياخذوا الواتساب، لو اي حد عايز يسال اي سؤال انا موجود في الخدمه ان شاء الله.
طيب معناته انت حتصلي الفجر وتروح على الشغل ان شاء الله؟
لا ما عندنا شغل اليوم.
يعني بعد الفجر فيك ترجع ولا حتكون؟
فينا نرجع لو هي مستمرة، لو هم
نعم.
مستمرين.
احنا مستمرين ان شاء الله. انت حتتحرك بعد 5 دقائق لصلاة الفجر؟
5 دقائق ان شاء الله.
وحتطول في الفجر يا شيخنا؟
لا 10 دقائق وارجع ان شاء الله. يعني ربع ساعة الحد الأقصى.
طيب قبل ما تتحرك بلغنا انك حتسكر عشان نعرف انك حترجع بعد 15 دقيقة.
طيب انا معاك دلوقتي. يشترط في ان يكونوا مسلمين، يكونوا بالغين مش اطفال.
نعم.
عقلاء.
نعم.
يكون رجلين
نعم.
من الصالحين. على الحد الادنى يكونوا بيحافظوا على الصلاة، ليسوا شراب خمور، ليسوا بيرتكبوا كبيرة ظاهرة حد عارفها. كده كلنا اصحاب كبائر، لكن ما يبقاش مشهور مثلا انه بيشرب خمر او بيبيع مخدرات، او يعني راجل شخص عادي. وان يعقد العقد في المسجد. اتفضل.
نعم. دقيقة نعمل ميوت. Sister Laila.
Yes, I'm still here. We're here.
Dr. Saeed is going now.
Deposit.
After 5 minutes, he is going, inshallah, Rabbil Alameen, to pray Salat al-Fajr in the masjid, inshallah, because now it's a Fajr time in Egypt.
I understood that.
And after 15 minutes praying Fajr, he will be back to us. He will leave within the next 5 minutes for Fajr prayers, inshallah, and he will be away for around 15 minutes, and then he will be back to us, inshallah. Now, what he said to us, he said, either way, if 2 men witness, these 2 men, they need to be a real Muslim. So a Muslim who doesn't drink, who doesn't do any like haram. He is a real Muslim who is praying the 5 times. He is practicing Islam in a normal, clean way, clean Muslims. And if there is no second man, so a man and 2 real Muslim practicing ladies, female. So a man and 2 females, so will be the total 3 witness, or 2 real man Muslims. And recommended to take a place in a masjid, in a clean place like a masjid, and recommended like to take a place after Friday prayers, because you'll have lots of Muslims attending the prayers, yes, Friday prayers, and you have a lot of people to witness the marriage. This is highly recommended to be witnessed by as most as possible of people. And the Imam or the Khatib who make khutbah, he will announce that there is a marriage, will take a place right after the prayers. Please stay for 5 minutes and we will announce the marriage, so everybody knows that so-and-so married so-and-so, and the marriage take place in a decent, clean place, and many people witness the marriage. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Any questions on that? That's the witnesses. Just as long as it's good Muslims, 2 Muslim men, or 1 man and 2 good practicing Muslim women. Any questions on the witnesses of the contract? So subhanAllah, we've covered so much here, guys. As you can see, you know, Allah sets these laws. If you, just how some of us were like, what? You know, if we Muslims would live our lives adhering to the guidelines that have been set in place for us, you know, by Allah and his Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then maybe we wouldn't have all these divorces. Maybe we wouldn't have all these bad marriages. It all begins with, first of all, that guardian trying to find someone who is salihun and salihun. And while we wait for Dr. Saeed, Sheikh Haytham, can you describe what salihun means? When Allah says, marry those who are most capable, most fit, most able. Can you describe what salihun means? Go ahead, your English is good.
A salihun is a Muslim, a real Muslim, who respect the Islam in full. He do his best to pray always on time. Do his best to pray the prayers. 1 second, there's a mic. Can you turn off your mic, Sister Laila?
I'm sorry.
And he is a person who always do his best to attend the prayers in the masjid, the 5 times, do his best to recite the Quran and practice Islam in full with the family, look after his wife, and he is going to talk to her and make sure that she got all the help need to be able to pray on time and to provide all complete Islamic manners and behaviors and help she needed. And the person, he always a person well known that he always hang out only with a real normal practicing Muslims, and he is either in the masjid or in halaqah or at work. He always in good respectful locations, and he never been known as a person who like hang out with girlfriends or hang out in a bar or a nightclub or hang out in somewhere where raise a lot of questions. And he has a manners, like he doesn't yell all the time, cursing, calling people with names, backbiting, all that thing. Like there's a verse in the Quran Kareem says that he's described this kind of as-salihun, where they said they are praying on time, they read the Quran, they make dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they make the istighfar, the siyam shahr Ramadan, fasting of month of Ramadan, a real Muslim, a complete real Muslim. And we need to know something. There is no harm on a Muslim that he is from the low income. Like if he work a job, and this job is a minimum wage job, but this minimum wage job can give him the basic needs, so he can cover the basic needs, and he needs help. So if he's doing a minimum job, the 8 hours minimum job, his wife also has another minimum job, 2 minimum jobs, they can really run the home. Like with 2 minimum jobs, they can help each other and cover the basic needs and expense. They have to work it together. The mic with you, sister.
Yes, alhamdulillah. So that's what that means, guys. You want to find a person, and it goes hand in hand with the hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said people marry.
15 minutes, please, and I will come back after 15 minutes.
Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah.
It goes, alhamdulillah, it goes hand in hand with the hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said some men will marry women because of their beauty or because of their wealth or because of their family status or their social status. He said, but the best man, the most intelligent one who has a more successful marriage is the one who looks for religion first. That's Salihun too. You know, we are so blinded by looks and wealth and money when we should, the first criteria when looking for a spouse should be religiousness. Does he pray? Does she wear hijab? Does he go to the mosque and perform Juma? Does he know the rights of women? Does she know the rights of a man? Does he know his role as a man? Does she know hers as a woman? These are things we should look at. You know, what bad habits do they have? You know, that's the righteousness. And then we look to see, is he capable? You know, a lot of Muslim women are marrying men who are in prison. Why would you marry a man who is in prison when he's not capable or able? He's not capable of providing for you. He's not capable of protecting you. He's not capable of maintaining you. So that should take out any man that's in prison. And then, you know, able meaning physically. Is he physically able to do what does he suffer with any sicknesses? These are things we should look at as Muslims. You know, is there any mental health issues in your family? Oh, can you tell me what medical conditions exist? Because we may have children, you know, maybe cancer, leukemia runs in the family, asthma. Can you share this? So if we would sit down and base everything we do on the Quran and the Sunnah, then we wouldn't have so many divorces. Salihun, marry those who are most pious, most capable, most fit, okay, in that order. You know, are you religious? Are you practicing Islam? And are you practicing it moderately? I don't want a man who's a fanatic, and I don't want one who's a lenient either. Are you balanced moderately, like you should be? You know, are you capable of maintaining me the way I'm accustomed to being maintained, providing for me the way I am accustomed to being provided for? Okay, and are you physically fit? Am I going to contract any diseases from you? Am I going to, would our children inherit any future problems from you? This is what Allah set forth, but how many of us honor that? And that's what your guardian is for. Your guardian, the Prophet ﷺ said, investigate those who come before you. The guardian should investigate any potential men that want to marry you. He's going to look to see how religious they are. He's going to learn about who their friends are. Remember, the Prophet said, if you want to know about a person, ask who his friends are. Ask whose company that person sits in. Okay, ask where that person takes his knowledge from. That's really important. There's a lot of Muslim women that come to me telling me, Sister Layla, you know, I want to marry this brother that I met on the internet. He doesn't practice the Sunnah. I mean, he doesn't pray, but he's still a Muslim. Astaghfirullah. How would you even consider marrying someone that doesn't practice the deen? And you think it's going to be a successful marriage? You know, again, we have to follow the guidance that Allah set in place for us through the example of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and we wouldn't have all of these problems. And that brings us to the last condition of marriage. We talked about wali, we talked about mahar, we talked about the two witnesses. The last condition is the marriage must be announced. The marriage must be announced. The Prophet ﷺ said, announce all marriages. What do you guys think about that? Sheikh Haytham, go ahead and put your comment in on this about announcing the marriages. We do have questions about that too.
As I mentioned, I find out that the best time to announce marriage, and you can have maybe the whole community knows about it. That's when they gather for Jum'ah prayers. You can say to the Imam right after we do the Jum'ah prayers, during the khutbah, when he's standing up and giving the talk to everyone, he say, we pray the 2 rak'ah, and after that, before Sunnah, we need just 5 minutes. We need to announce a marriage between a brother and a sister. They're going to get married, and we need to announce so you all witness the marriage. And this is called ishar. Ishar meaning that publishing the marriage, like everybody knows announcement, public announcement of a marriage called ishar. It's not a secret. It's not confidential. It's not like everybody become to know on that day that so-and-so brother, he married the sister, her name, so-and-so. Okay. That's the best time and the best way of doing it. If there is a masjid, there is a Jum'ah, we can do it on that day. So at that evening time, they will have something called walima. Walima is food, chicken, meat, anything, whatever available, you can do. Even dates if you don't have that much money. Anything, food, something they can eat, and they can drink water if there's no juice or whatever. So something they can eat, even dates, anything they can eat and drink. Water is okay if they don't have something else to drink. like milk or something like that. All right. This is the thing we believe in, to do it in Jum'ah and in the masjid, so everybody knows that they are married. Jazakumullah khair.
Yeah, and that brings us to a question that a lot of people ask here, and I got one written here too. A sister wants to know, what about in the case of polygamy? You knew this was coming. What about in the case of polygamy? A man does not want his wife to know that he is marrying another woman, so he announces the marriage in a different city just to prevent her from knowing about it, and he keeps the marriage, the marriage a secret. Is this permissible in Islam?
I take from our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam his sunnah, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he never did this polygamy in secret. He never did it in secret. He never went from Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara to Makkah Al-Munawwara to do it in secret. He never say hide it. He doesn't, no one from the companion, from the real Muslim, hide such a thing. The first wife knows that there is a second. The second and the first knows there is third. The third knows that there is a fourth. There is nothing in secret, never happened. I never seen it in any book. And now they are talking about it, Sister Laila. So you are smart, wise sister. So you tell me now, never happened during Prophet Muhammad in secret. He never did it in secret. He announced it. Everybody knows. Anybody is not happy, he told them, the one who already married to him, if she's not happy and she wanna walk away, she can walk away. He decided to get married, and everybody accepted, and everybody is happy. And this is the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companion, as-Sahaba, al-Kiram, and Tabi'een, and all real good Muslim did it. They always announced it and made it clear for his wife that he's going to take the second wife. Do you have any objection? Do you have any comment? Do you want to say anything about it? And they always talk about it, and this is the way they're doing it in a real world. Mike, with you, Sister Laila.
Exactly, exactly. Any comments on that? Any no more questions on that part, right? You know, Allah hates deceitfulness anyway. As Muslims, we're supposed to be honorable. We're supposed to be honest. Honesty, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it in a beautiful, authentic hadith, the Muslim is capable of murder. The Muslim is capable of committing sin, but there is one sin that a believer is not capable of, and that is dishonesty. A believer cannot lie. A believer can do anything else, but he is not a liar. So we need to work on being more honest. And as he said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never hid anything, any marriage from any of his. You know, however, you know, we do have some of the shuyukh who say that if a man is afraid that perhaps if the first wife found out about the marriage, you know, that it might destroy her and or destroy the family. So they'll say that perhaps the man can keep it a secret so as to not to hurt her or something like that. You will hear some of the shuyukh say that. But as Sheikh Haytham is saying here, the Prophet, you know, never hid anything. And again, dishonesty. This is not a characteristic of the true believer, you know. Okay, so we basically, guys, covered all the conditions of a valid marriage contract. And in addition to these conditions, we can also put stipulations in our contracts. And this is where a lot of Muslims fail short. Of placing whatever stipulations. For example, if you want to work, you know, I'll marry you, but let's put it in the contract that I be allowed to continue to work. or I be allowed to continue my education. You know, a woman can put whatever is of importance to her in that contract, and you brothers too. And this is something that American Muslims don't consider. You know, we get married and don't think of conditions or stipulations, but in other Muslim countries, they do. You know, and this is something that we Americans need to do more of. If you enjoy working, if you enjoy or want to go to college, that needs to be stipulated. Because once you get married, your husband can tell you he doesn't want you doing those things. And if you did not stipulate that in your contract, you know, he can stop you from going to school. He can stop you from working. But I do have a question here for Dr. Saeed when he's back that they want me to ask. He's not back yet, right? See.
No, he's praying now.
Oh. Okay, I saw Sheikh Assam come in and he left out. Did you get him back in here? I saw him pop in and pop out. I have a good.
I haven't seen him.
I thought I saw him pop in here and pop out. Real short, but he's might be his computer there.
Have you seen him?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to.
Can you check
Yeah, I
Zoom
saw
meeting?
him pop. He popped in and then he popped out like he got disconnected or something. When you were talking.
Assalamualaikum.
Oh, go ahead, Sabrine.
I would like to ask a question. I heard once before in regards to stipulations that one sister, is a woman allowed in a marriage contract to say, you can, if you want to have another wife other than myself, then I should be the one who choose her? I have heard sisters say this. And it sounds odd to me because he's the one that's marrying her. So, I mean, can things like this?
I knew we were going to get a question like that. That's why I was waiting for Dr. Saeed. I prefer for myself, I want to let the Sheikh answer that.
Okay.
Because
I got with what she was asking about, can she choose? What if they didn't get along and he had already married her and they didn't get along?
What you mean?
The wives didn't get along.
A man marries a second wife and the two wives don't get along?
Yeah, with the question with Sabrine.
Well, if the woman don't get along and she remember divorce is lawful and good and clean.
Yeah, but this one
women don't get along.
We can wait for it to be answered because I've heard this more than once.
Yeah, I want Dr. Saeed to answer that because I can answer, but I want to hear what he says about that. And also this other question that I have here about this putting in the contract about not taking on another wife at all. Yeah, I'm gonna have him answer both of those. You know, I can answer him, but I want to hear what he would say. What about you, Sheikh? What do you want to say about those two issues?
I am living in Canada for 20 years. And I lived before that 20 years, maybe in United Arab Emirates. Nobody can afford second wife. Now, here we are talking with very rich people who can afford second wife. And this second wife and the first wife, they can live together. Good. The condition is each one of them needs her own house, own place, own residential. Can he afford that? No. So he want to rent 2-bedroom apartment and each room have a wife and share kitchen and share washroom, and they are fighting to each other. They don't like each other. You think about this, Sister Laila, how it's going to work? And government doesn't even allow 2 wives. So the police show up, what do you say? They are both of them, they are girlfriends or 2 wives. You're not allowed legally to have 2 wives. So how it's going to work out? Dr. Saeed is going to come and answer the question. And I'm telling you, as far as I know, each one of them has her own place, her own location. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had a room for each one. But those people, they are very friendly people. We lived together, no problems. They were always friendly friends. They used to have some time to time a conflict, but Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to fix the conflict and the issues before it gets bigger and bigger. Out of respect, they used to say, okay, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are sisters, we are friends, we live together happily.
They
And
fought.
they were living together. Sister Laila.
Yeah, they had their own separate apartments. They didn't live in the same house. They had each wife had her own apartment attached to the mosque. And they used to fight. Those wives did not get along. And that's what I want you sisters to understand. It's the nature. That's a different topic, polygamy. But it's the nature of a woman to be monogamous. It's the nature of a man to be polygamous. You cannot expect two women to live together and get along. I mean, even the prophet's wives, they did not get along. They became friends after his death. And they felt so bad for the things they did to each other and the horrible way they treated each other, you know, but it was an example to show. And the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, dealt with them. You know, he didn't get involved in their arguments unless they transgressed the limits. When they transgressed the limits, he would put his foot down. Twice he was going to divorce them because of the fitna that they created. But yeah, they had their own homes. You know, they did not live in the same house. And a lot of these people in America who are practicing polygamy, they don't even take care of the women. The women are living in the projects. And that's not how the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not put his wives in no projects. And he would not have his children raised in a drug district with guns going off, crime, violence. This is not living the sunnah. That's not
Sister Laila.
Yeah.
Sister Laila.
Yes.
Sister Laila, you have to leave Clubhouse and come back.
Okay.
The voice is gone.
Yeah, it does that. Hold on, let me go back in, y'all. Okay. Okay. Okay, is it better
So
now?
Sister Layla, a contract is like a prenup, right?
No, the contract is the contract. Marriage is a contract that allows us to be together lawfully. We sit down like this is a piece of paper. If a man wants to marry you, he's going to go to your guardian, your brother, your father, or the imam, and you're going to sit there with the imam and him, and you agree. Okay, if we get married, let's talk about the dowry. I want $10,000. And if he agrees to it, you write it down, just like a regular contract. I want to go to college. Whatever it's just a real contract. And then if all parties sign it, it's a legal contract. Although contracts can be verbal too. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it's best to put the contract in the form of a paper. Yeah, it's a real contract. That's how we get married as Muslims. We don't go, you know, the way the Christians do. That marriage is a contract that allows a woman and a man to be together lawfully. It's a contract between two people that allows them to live together lawfully as husband.
I did a little research. It says they can exchange vows, but the woman doesn't have to be there.
I don't like using vows because we don't do that. We're not Christians. We don't exchange vows. But a woman doesn't have to be present. Yeah, the guardian, that's the purpose of the wali, the guardian. The guardian is the one that initiates and conducts your contract on your behalf. He represents you. Okay. Yes, but we don't exchange vows. So whoever you read that said vows, we don't give vows in Islam. We don't say, I vow to take you as my husband. And I vow that we don't do that. None of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what it is. It's a legal contract. It can be verbal, but it's best to put it in writing. Yeah, but this polygamy is a different topic, guys. Most of the people I know who practice polygamy, they're not practicing it the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. Most of the men that I know who practice polygamy, the women are signing contracts where they support themselves. The Prophet didn't have any of his wives sign a contract saying that they would take care of themselves. You know, because like the brother was saying, this is America. It's hard to take care of one wife and children, molest 2, 3, or 4. Even in the Muslim lands, it's not that much polygamy going on like that.
Sister Layla,
Yes, go ahead.
we have a job in the morning in the housing. We have a job in the evening in the archive. I can't even cover my basic expense, cover myself. What about covering 2, 3 wives? What they are talking
السلام
about?
عليكم.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. رجعت شيخنا؟
الحمد لله معك.
في سؤال أنا حأطلب من السيستر ليلى تذكرنا إياه. Sister Layla, Sheikh Saeed is back. Can you give us the question, please?
Yeah, this was, it was about polygamy. What was the question again, guys? It was, what was the question again, Lucy?
One, it was Sabrine, she was asking, with that taking a second wife, that the wife choose.
Yes, the question is, if when making a marriage contract, can the woman stipulate in her contract that should the man decide to take on a second wife, that she be allowed to choose who that woman should be?
Okay, 1 second. We want to translate. Sheikh Dr. Saeed. السؤال
تفضل يا حبيبي. تفضل.
زوجها بعد ما تزوج الزوجة الأولى قال لها بدي أتزوج كمان زوجة ثانية. سؤالها هي بدها تختار الزوجة الثانية المناسبة لزوجها. بدها تختار زوجة بتكون تستطيع أنها يعني تتكيف معها أو تصادقها، إنه يكون لها هي حق الاختيار، إنه تقولوا أنت بدك تتزوج كمان زوجة، أنا بدي أختار لك زوجة. هل من حقها إنها تتدخل في الموضوع وتتشرف بالشخصية المناسبة؟
ليس لا ليس أنا عايز بس أوضح وتوضح إنه التعدد ليس جريمة، والتعدد هو الله سبحانه وتعالى شرعه لتحصين المسلمات في الأرامل والمطلقات والتي لم يسبق لهم الزواج، من يقوم بإعفاف هؤلاء إذا لم يحصل التعدد. دي مقدمة. وبعدين إن هو راضي إن هي تساعده في الاختيار دون أن تجبره على شخص، على حد، على فتاة بعينها، وراضي ذلك خلاص. لكن أن تجبره يدية لا، ليس لها الحق في ذلك. لكن أن تكون يأخذ رأيها، يستشيرها، يعني يأخذ نصيحتها، ماشي. لكن أن تجبره فلانة أو لا تتزوج ليس لها الحق في ذلك. بس.
شكرا جزيلا. Sister Layla.
Yes.
She has no right to select the woman.
It's the same thing. I
He
would
can
say.
select what he like
That's what I would have said too.
according to his own wish, and she needs to accept, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran Kareem, the man have the right for second wife if he can afford, and you know the condition how he can afford.
Exactly.
So he has the right to select or to choose which one he like, not what she like, he like. He needs to like her and he will marry her. And she has the right to know that he's married the second one, and she can know the basic information need to be done, that okay, he married so and so from that family, they live and they have children and everything is okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And that and also that means too.
I mean, she has a right to advise him, not to obligate him. Okay.
You guys hear that? You hear that? She can give her advice, but she can't
Yes.
tell him who
Not
to choose.
not obligate him.
Right, right. That's his choice.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Okay, and here's a question too for you, Dr. Saeed. Here's a sister, she said that she put in her marriage contract when she got married that she be allowed to continue her education and work. And her husband agreed to that. But now, after being married, he has decided to not allow her to continue her education nor to work. Does he have the right to do this? And if not, can she refuse?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Okay. Okay, y'all hear that? Okay, he has the right. Okay, and also, here's another question from a brother here. I don't know why he won't get on the mic. He says, I married and my wife's family failed to tell me that my wife suffers with mental illness. I cannot deal with her mental illness. Do I have the right to seek a divorce from her, being that it is too much for me to handle? And they hid her mental illness from me?
بتهينه يعني يا شيخ هيثم ولا ايه؟ مش فاهم.
طلعت مجنونة شيخنا، مجنونة مش قادر تعيش معاها.
Majnun, yeah.
مجنون mental illness مجنونة.
Yeah.
Crazy?
Yes,
لا
yes,
مش
crazy,
لا.
crazy, yes.
لا مش crazy يعني in between شيخنا، يعني ما بين، يعني ساعة بتنجن وساعة بتعقل.
كل النساء كده.
لا في جنون تقدر انت تتحمله، بس في جنون
يعرضها على الطبيب، فإن أيقن المريض يعرضها على الطبيب، فإن قال له إنها مريضة مرض شديد وهو لا يستطيع الصبر عليها، له الحق أن يطلقها، وإن صبر فله الأجر.
The situation, Sister Laila,
Yes, go ahead. They're listening.
Is very complicated. Dr. Saeed can explain to me. It depends on her mental illness. If her mental illness is manageable, he will take twice rewards, ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and more to keep her under his to keep her married to him and take care of her. The rewards will be trouble or more, 1,000 times more than normal marriage. The rewards to take care of her, and if he can keep it under control with her mental illness, there's a big, huge rewards from Allah for that, special rewards. If he cannot, and it's very difficult to keep the marriage going on with that mental illness because it's not manageable, it's out of control, and it's the jeopardy, like he will be in risk. Will police show up and she say something never happened? Police, what they will do? Will arrest him and throw him in jail and destroy his life. So he needs to keep himself also safe, that he needs to live with a normal person. A person who doesn't cause a problem cost him his future. Because if he went to jail, he loses his job, criminal record, like my job. If I get charged by police for any domestic problem in my home, I lose my work completely forever. Because my job condition, you have zero charge in police station. You got me, Sister Laila?
Yes, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. And Sister Amina, go ahead with your question.
Okay, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it was a question asked earlier about putting a stipulation in the contract that said that I could work and he wouldn't stop me from working. And he said, yes, I could. Now he's changed his mind and went back on his word. And you guys say that's okay? Why? And how?
Thank you for the question. Dr. Said. سامعني؟ دكتور سعيد.
تمام. هي بتقول لي ليه من حقها تطيعه. انا هو ينفق عليها او لا، متكفل بحاجاتها او لا.
واضح السؤال، واضح كلامك دكتور سعيد. بدي افهمك شغله بس هيك بيني وبينك.
طيب
انا عايش في كندا صار لي 20 سنه يا دكتور سعيد.
طيب
النسوان هنا ما حريه تبعتهم، عارفها انت كيف النسوان الغرب
open minded.
ايوه. فبالعربي الفصيح احنا بتقول احنا متفقين على انه اكمل تعليمي واني اشتغل. الحين لانه صار اسمه زوج، لان هم الزواج عندهم كله مش حاسبين له حساب. من حقه انه يمنعني من استكمال الدراسات العليا، تعليم، واستكمال مسيرتي العمليه في المهنيه واني اشتغل. يعني هي مش قادرين يستوعبوها يا دكتور سعيد.
ايوه، ما دي
متحررين.
دي الرأسمالية اللي كنت لسه كاتب بوست على الموضوع ده.
ايوه،
الرأسمالية وتخريب الأسرة المسلمة.
بالضبط. فانه هي تستوعب الكلام اللي انت قلته كشريعة إسلامية، انه من حقه انه يقولها اقعدي في البيت، سيبيكي من رايحة جاية على الجامعة ومواصلات ووجع راس، او تروحي تشتغلي في اماكن فيها اختلاط مع رجال. هذول تربوا على حياتهم كلها على انه ما حدش يتحكم فيهم. والزواج نفسه يا دكتور سعيد اصلا يعني بيني وبينك ملوش قيمه عندهم. زيه زي قلته، عندها الزوج يعني هو اللي بده يسمع الكلام، مش هي اللي تسمع الكلام.
بس هي جايه تسال الشيخ، فلازم اقول لها حكم الله في المسألة.
بالضبط، انت حكيت الحكم بس هي مش قادره تستوعب الفكره، فبتقول لي ممكن تشرحوا لي اكثر على اي اساس انتوا قلتوا او اعطيتوه صلاحيه انه يمنعني من الشغل والدراسه بعد الزواج؟
مش انا ولا الشيخ هيثم اللي حط الصلاحيه.
تفضل.
الله سبحانه وتعالى قال الرجال قوامون على النساء. قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما انفق. طالما ينفق عليها ويقوم بحقوقها المادية والمعنوية فله الحق أن يأمرها بعدم عمل طالما هو ينفق عليها. ويمكن هذه الأمور يمكن أن تحل بالتراضي. لماذا هو يمنعها؟ ربما لتقصيرها معه، أو حس أنه في اختلاط في المكان، أو حس أنه في خطورة عليها من ناحية المعنوية أو كده.
دكتور سعيد، في آية من القرآن، هاي آية بالقرآن، تعرف سورة ورقم الآية؟
الرجال قوامون على النساء. النساء كام؟ 22 تقريبا أو 23. لحظة أشوف بس ترجم على ما أجيب لك الآية.
Asking him for the Dalil. Okay. Go ahead.
Sister Layla.
Yes. Okay. Tarja.
We have a question from our sister Amina. I discussed the situation with Dr. Said, and I explained to him we are in North America.
Yeah, I knew it.
Women have the right for education and work.
Right.
After marriage and before marriage, she talked to the person before marriage that, hey, we are going to get married. I need to be allowed to continue or finish my education, take all the education I need as much as possible and keep working. After marriage, he said to her, I want you to be what you call the housewife. Housewife, like look after the house, look after the children. I will take care of the house, rent, and basic needs. I want you to stay home and give up your education and give up your work. Dr. Saeed said that in the Quran Kareem, he's going to tell us the verse. It's in Surah An-Nisa, that Allah allow him to say, like, I changed my mind and I believe that the best option now is to give up going out, stay home, take care of the house, take care of your children,
Because your
take care of
home
the
is
family.
better for you.
You don't need to worry about
That's
going
the
out
verse he talked
for
about.
education and for work. And he is explaining that, and he's going to give us the verse from Quran Kareem. And he suggests that let's do it friendly way. What about like something called marriage counseling? So we can do like discussion, they can sit together and talk friendly way, conversation, dialogue, and work out a plan. And do it in a friendly way, that I understand I need to stay home and I need to take care of the home and the kids and the family. I understand there's no time for education and work for 8 hours. And Dr. Saeed?
We can recite ayah 34 from Nisa.
And Surah and
Nisa.
Surah An-Nisa, Surah Al-Woman An-Nisa,
For
34,
34 verse, yeah.
the verse 34. Sister Laila, can you ask one of the sisters to?
Yeah. Isra, can you get that verse, one of you? Surah Nisa, verse 34.
Please.
I wonder if it's the one about your homes is better for you. Can you get that verse, Anissa? I mean, one of you?
Yes, I got it. 34 in English says, men are in charge of women because Allah has made the one of them to excel the other, and because they spend of their property for the support of women. So good women are obedient, guarding in secret that which Allah has guarded. As for those whoever you fear rebellion, admonish them and banish them to beds apart, basically to stay away from the bed, I guess, and scold them. And then if they obey you, seek not a way against them. Lo, Allah is ever high, exalted, great.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the version that he's using. Well,
Sister Laila.
let me leave and come back. Hold on, guys. My internet did that. Okay. Okay.
It ain't no, I mean, I understood what that said, but what was the whole thing about the marriage contract? I knew that he was the provider in all that, but I wanted to finish my education in case he crank up, go crazy, and I gotta provide for myself. We two horses. I wanted to be able to travel my own path, you know. But if he, and that's why I put it in the contract. Not all of a sudden.
You can discuss with him. You can discuss with him and argue him.
Okay, so we could have a meeting, and then if he still want to say that, I can get a divorce then, right? Well, whatever we decide upon.
One second, Sister Amina, 1 second. I just need to explain in Arabic to Dr. Saeed something. 1 second. دكتور سعيد سامعني؟
معك يا حبيبي.
حكت بالإنجليزي. It is condition in my marriage contract, marriage license contract, that I ask to continue my education. Why he put it down like he should respect the condition?
Yeah, that's what the prophet
الشروط
said.
اللي موجودة في عقد الزواج.
No.
انه لازم تكمل تعليمها، لكن هو غير رأيه.
It is not obligation for him. It is not obligation.
يعني he can change her mind even if it's conditional marriage.
Yeah.
Did she have the right to go for divorce because he changed his mind? Can you answer?
No.
So she has no right to seek divorce
Sheikh
because
Morsi would
he
disagree on
changed
that.
his mind on
It is unreasonable.
unreasonable.
Yeah.
Sister
If you
Laila,
want to divorce for this
reason.
it is unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable. He lied. He knowed he wasn't gonna let me do it. He could have just told me up front, and I wouldn't have never married him in the first place, brother. That ain't right.
Okay, 1 second. دكتور سعيد، افتح المايك دكتور سعيد.
معاك يا حبيبي.
انا سكرته عشان نفهمها لانه في صدى صوت.
تمام معاك.
هي الحين عصبت.
عصبت وانا واخد
Now,
بالي.
this is an
بدها
example
تصرخ.
of
ما انا قلت لك
cultural
هذول جماعة
differences.
امريكا.
Because in America, the court,
يعني أنا
Sheikh
حكيت لك
Morsi
فهمتك
would tell you
دلوقتي.
that he has to honor that contract. This brother's, he's in
فاهم
Egypt,
فاهمك.
guys, and it's
لكن
different.
هي
you
الحين
know?
عصبت لانه
I thought you
بتقول
said it was a
إنه
legal
لو حكى
contract,
لي-
so
هي حكت
is,
he
لك
broke it.
And, yeah, he's in
حكت
Egypt, and
لو
he
حكى
doesn't
لي
understand the
انه بده
situation.
يلعب في هذا الشرط ويغير رايه.
Yeah, Sheikh
كان
Morsi
انا
would tell you
اساسا
that the guy
الزواج
has
كله
to
هذا
honor.
ما
I would say
ما
that
تزوجته.
if you guys
انا
ask
الزواج
me, I
كله
would
هذا ما
tell you too.
بيهمني
He can't break
اذا هو
it.
بده
And
يمنعني
Sheikh
عن
Haitham
التعليم.
agrees too.
يعني انا عندي التعليم اهم من الزواج واللي خلفه.
Yeah, Sheikh
فهمت
Haitham
علي؟ هذا
agrees with us too.
طب
That the
أعمل إيه
woman,
بقى؟
he can't break the contract.
لحظه دكتور سعيد افهمني. هي كل الزواج على بعضه، وانا بدي احكي لك اياها هنا في كندا وامريكا وهي البلاد، الزواج كله ملوش قيمه في حياتهم. يعني الزواج هذا اخر همهم، انه يستمر ولا ما يستمر، لعمره ما استمر.
طيب أنا الملخص السمري بقى.
ايوه.
اذا كان هو ينفق عليها ويعاملها بالمعروف.
ايوه.
ويتقي الله فيها. تحاول ان تقنعه بكل الطرق. تحاول ان تقنعه
Technically, guys, the contract has to be honored. That's the purpose of it. Can't nobody go back on that contract. That's why you put it in there. If they do, that's grounds for divorce.
بهذه الحالة
That's what Sheikh Morsi would tell you guys too.
ايوه اوكي. هي الحين معصبه لانه هي بتعتبر انه ضحك عليها.
Sheikh Morsi would give you the same answer as Sheikh Haitham, and it's out of it. I would give you the answer, Sheikh Haitham, Dr. Asim, Sheikh Morsi. We'd all give you that because we know what's going on here. I don't think Sheikh Saeed understands.
يعني يغير رايه من حقه لانه في عنده اسباب.
اعتبارات اخرى.
صح؟
عنده اولاد صغار محتاجها انها تقعد معاهم تربيهم. عنده بيغير عليها مثلا، بيحبها قوي فبيغير عليها. مش دي اعتبارات؟
يعني اعتبارات. خلينا نرجع على السيستر ليلى دقيقة.
He wants me to put my 2% in.
This right here
what
could cause somebody to kill themselves. This is abuse to the fullest abuse I ever heard. He's a liar. He could have told me in the first place and I'd still be alive, but now I'm fixed to die.
Don't accuse your husband a liar, please. It is a ذنب. It is a معصية.
Sister Laila, 1 second, Sister Amina.
Yes.
Sister Laila, we need your help.
Yes, well, you know.
Yes, 1 second. Let me explain to you. I explain it to Dr. Saeed the way
now they want me to be the
Sister Amina feels about that. If she would know in advance that he's going to change his mind about the education and block the education, she would never ever go with that marriage from the beginning.
Exactly.
I explained that clearly to Dr. Saeed, and he said, I understand. But he said, it could be that he said to her, okay, and I will write that as a condition in the marriage contract. And he was okay at that time with that condition of education and work and other conditions. Later on, after they went in marriage, he feels that he's feeling now jealous Example, like he doesn't feel comfortable about that she can continue with the education and career, like
Okay.
job and work. And he feel that is staying with the kids. He's not satisfied taking kids to daycare, and himself has to go to work, and his wife needs to go to work, and kids with daycare. He doesn't want to do that. He wants the mother, the real mother of the kids, to take care of the children and stay home, and he will cover all the basic expense need to be covered. Sister Amina, she was saying just now that he lied about his promise, and if changing mind is
This is my
called
test, guys.
lie or
They're
like
testing me to see
he
how I will
like,
answer this and if I'm going to
you
get
know,
it right.
and you can use any other words of it, but Dr. Saeed said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran al-Kareem give him the permission to change his mind. So can you explain it, Sister Laila, in a friendly
Yes.
way, please? Thank you.
This is my test. Yes, to be honest, Sheikh Saeed is correct. And I'm going to tell you guys why he's correct. In the beginning of the marriage contract, she agreed. He agreed that to allow her to seek her education, he agreed to allow her to work, but also she has to agree that this should not impact her role as a wife, her role as a mother, her role which Allah created us to fulfill first. It is not the woman's duty nor obligation to provide and maintain. This is the man's obligation. It is our obligation to take care of those children in the home. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, each and every one of you is a guardian, and each and every one of you will be held accountable for that whom you were entrusted with. The man is the guardian over his wife and children and family. He will have to answer for that. The woman is the guardian over her children and her husband's property. She will answer for that. So now in the beginning, when they made the contract, the woman said, I will go to school, I will work, and you know, if you allow me, and I'll still take care of guarding what Allah has entrusted me to guard. Okay. And then in this case, so they start off, she does fine, but then she becomes lax. She stopped taking care of her wifely duties. She's not giving the children the care that they're supposed to have. We have to remember, guys, this world is a dunya. This world is a dunya and a test. Okay, our obligations to Allah come first. If working and going to school is interfering with her fulfilling the obligations and the roles that Allah has put in effect for her, then she has to let it go. She has to let the education go. She has to let the school go. And this is the same answer that Sheikh Morsi would give. This brother, Dr. Saeed, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you and may he give you a long life. You are a true person that breaks this religion down. The only person that break it down this correctly is Sheikh Morsi and Sheikh Karadari. Subhanallah, may Allah bless you. He's right. If the woman's working, Amina, and the woman's going to school is causing her to become remiss in her duties to her home, her husband can tell her, stop working because you can't handle it. It's too much. I'm not going to have the children go without. I'm not going to have the home go without because you care about yourself and getting that piece of paper that ain't going to get you in paradise. But these children will. My home will. So if this is a situation like that, then yes, he can renege on the contract. But if she is working, going to school, taking care of her duties, and he just wants her to quit because, you know, I don't want you to excel in life, then he broke a contract. And that would give her grounds for a divorce because they agreed that contract is a legal binding thing. Does everybody understand? So you have, that's what Dr. Saeed was saying. You have to sit down with a counselor or a person that specializes and see, why do you want her to quit work? And is she not doing her job as a wife? Or is she not taking care of the kids? You know, or is it just you? You have a problem with her because you are going through some mental illness or insecurities where you are feeling that you might end up, you know, she's outgrowing you. So this is what he's saying. So we have to, these cases have to be looked at individually when it comes to fulfilling your obligations to Allah and your, you know, and your family and your obligations to yourself. We have to sit down with the people of knowledge. They have to look at each situation separately. And if the woman is neglecting her duties, yes, he can say, stop working and just concentrate on this home. But if she's doing everything, then it's something else. Is that okay, Dr. Saeed? And that's the answer I believe Sheikh Morsi would give too.
Dr. Saeed.
God bless you, Mr. Layla.
Your answers are so right on. You know, subhanallah, I can tell you had the same teachers I have. Subhanallah, we all go back to Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim. Your answers are beautiful, Dr. Saeed. I am so happy to have you here with us at Sunnah Followers, because you answer just like all my teachers, you know, Karadari, Omar Ashkar, Sheikh Morsi, the brother that works, that wrote the book Fiqh Sunnah was Sheikh Morsi's teacher. MashaAllah, may Allah bless you.
And Quran says, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنْ. In Ahzab verse, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنْ.
الأحزاب رقم السورة شيخ، رقم السورة.
طيب حاضر.
Let's hate them saying.
Sister Layla?
Yes.
Okay. Sister Layla.
Yes, I'm here.
Mute the mic, Sister Layla. Dr. Saeed is going to find us from Quran al-Karim, a verse in the Quran al-Karim that clear up this completely. He said it, وَقَرْنَ فِي بِيُوتِكُنَّ. So now, inshallah, he will come back to us with the number so we can ask one of the sisters to recite it in English, and this will clear out that
he's a good scholar.
The husband, the man,
is Ahzab 73, verse 73.
Al-Ahzab, Sister Layla, Al-Ahzab, verse 33.
Isra?
Is it possible to get that in English?
Yes, hold on. Isra, you got it? Al-Ahzab, verse 33, the one that gets learned with Dr. Asim. Yeah.
Yep. Verse 33 in English says, and settle in your homes and do not display yourselves as in the former days of ignorance,
I say that?
and perform the prayers and give regular charity and obey Allah and his messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. God desires to remove all impurity from you, O people of the household, and to purify you thoroughly.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I was saying. Your homes, remember I said your homes are better for you? This is it. This is for us women. Our homes are better for us. You know, so like I said, and your husband agreed to this, but
and if you succeed in dunya and fail in akhirah, what can you do?
Exactly. You know, it's all about the hereafter, guys. It's not about the dunya. Does everybody, and this is the problem with a lot of Muslims today, our priorities are messed up. We're living for this dunya when we should be thinking about al-akhirah, the hereafter. You know, you want that job, you want to make that money, you want that big fancy house, you want to have all the beautiful fashions. But look at what you sold away, your soul. You gave your soul away for that. Your homes are better for you. A woman, you Muslim women need to realize that we get more blessings sitting in your home than leaving the house to go to the mosque to pray. SubhanAllah, I spend all my time in my bedroom teaching the dawah. I'm getting more reward than a woman out there working as a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, plus going to the mosque praying all night. I'm getting more blessings because I'm protecting myself from this dunya and protecting the dunya from me and my evils. So again, we can't sell our deen for this dunya. And that's how in this case, the man can change. He can look at you, he's held accountable. He's going to stand before Allah. Allah is going to ask him, why did you let your wife work? Why did you let her go to school when you saw her slacking in her prayers? She's not dressing in hijab anymore. She's drinking, or she's hanging out, gossiping, backbiting. The man's held accountable for you. So yes, he can stop it.
refuse to learn. We didn't refuse to learn, to work, to be better.
Yes.
But we refuse didn't obey your husband.
Yes.
Your husband is Jannatuk wa Naruk.
Yeah.
Nabi Sallallahu said that.
Yep. Exactly, guys. Yes.
Sister Laila,
Yes, go ahead.
you explain it very clearly, Sister Laila.
I think Sheikh Morsi's testing.
And also, we need to clear out changing mind. Like there is a condition says, oh, I'm allowed to work. I'm allowed to go and do my master degree and PhD. I am allowed to travel for work. I'm allowed to travel for education. I'm allowed to let kids be taken care by daycare. I am allowed to send them to daycare and go and do my work and education and social activities in any like masjid or anywhere else. This all can be after marriage, after we have children, it can be changed. So
it can. Yeah.
If we cannot say to him, hey, come here, you are a liar.
No, you can't.
Cheated, you change
you
your
were
mind,
missing your
meaning
duties
you
to Allah.
lying or stuff like that. Because in the Quran al-Kareem,
yeah, that's right.
there is verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it clear that he can say, Allah is saying that it's much better to stay home.
It is.
And look after your family.
It is.
And I will cover everything else, all the expense.
Exactly. And this is best for us women. I mean, subhanAllah, I'm a woman that just recently retired. I'm telling you guys, Allah didn't create us women to go out. Like he says, we don't have the physical prowess that a man has. You know, it's a fitna dealing with kafirs. It's a fitna going to work every day, people talking about you because you have a hijab on. It's a fitna being around people who smoke, drink, have sexual relations. You know, our home is better. We're protected away from that stuff. Allah made these rules not to punish us, but to protect us women in Islam. And we have to stop looking at everything as being a punishment when it's not. It's for your best. Any woman that says that she would rather work than stay at home is a liar. I'm going to tell you who the liar is, because that's not the nature of a woman. Allah tells us that. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that Allah created women to be cared for by a man. We came from the uppermost part of the man's rib. So any woman who says that she would rather work than stay home, she's the liar, because you're going against the nature of yourself. And that's the truth. But a lot of women in the West now don't want to admit it. But I'm going to tell you, you a liar. Because I am a woman, and I know every woman dreams of being Cinderella. Every woman wants to be the princess who the prince comes and sweeps us away to a life of happiness ever after. So you're a liar if you say you'd rather be out there in the street like a man, working, dealing with all that fitna out there, dealing with the COVID, dealing with the sickness, dealing with the corrupt people. You are the liar. You give me my home, my comfort, my bedroom with my beautiful cats, and I'm fine. Okay, go ahead, Sheikh Haitham.
Sister Laila, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us understanding our Islamic religion in the right way, because I think we are really need to keep discussing these issues about Islamic marriage and what is the right way of living Islamic family life in North America, Europe, Western, even in Middle East, because divorce rate is going higher and higher because it is lack of education, lack of knowledge, and lack of Islamic education and Islamic knowledge, and lack of that we don't give ourselves enough chance to have a conference like tonight. May Allah reward us for this time, and may Allah accept what we are saying, and may Allah guide us. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send us Dr. Saeed all the way from Egypt.
Yes.
His voice reach out, Alhamdulillah, his voice, his talk reach us all over the way to North America.
And also Africa, we got Muslims in Niger.
And all the way in Africa, inshallah, and Australia. And as I talked before with Dr. Saeed, we will be more than happy. I talked to him maybe 3 months ago when he was training how to use Clubhouse. That yes, we will be more than happy to have him in North America to take over one of these masajid as imam, to give people the real knowledge and the real message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sister Laila, the mic is now with Dr. Saeed. If you want to say something, Dr. Saeed.
We need to concentrate on these topics regarding to Usra Muslima or family, Muslim family. We're suffering from divorcing, and we're suffering from many problems, particular Muslim family. أنا عايز برضو أقول للأخت عشان ما تزعلش مننا، ده مش ديكتاتورية من الإسلام، أو إن إحنا بنقول إنه عشان ما تفهمناش غلط إن إحنا بنقول إنه لا يفرض عليها وإنه من حقه إنه يحبسها والكلام ده، لا عشان ما يتفسرش كلامنا غلط. لا إحنا بنقول الأقرب إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى والأفضل ليها للآخرة أن تطيع زوجها، وأن تكلمه بالمعروف وتعامل معه بالمعروف، تبدأ تقنعه. والمرأة تستطيع إن هي بالكلام الطيب وبحسن المعاملة تجعل زوجها أسير عندها ويفعل لها ما تريد. لكن لو دخلنا في طريق العند، الزوجة هتخسر والزوج هيخسر. أريد بقى أترجم لهم كده يا حبيبي، وأنا مبسوط إن أنا معاك والله النهاردة، يا ريت نبقى مع بعض إن شاء الله دايما.
جزاك الله خير وبارك الله فيك وتقبل الله أعمالكم. الحين سوف إن شاء الله رب العالمين، اللهم آمين. الآن سوف نبدأ بالترجمة إلى اللغة الإنجليزية مع الأخت ليلى. Sister Laila. Sister Laila,
Yes.
Dr. Saeed, he just want to clarify that what we are saying about that the right of changing mind and saying give up your education and work and stay home and look after your family and kids is not art of dictatorship. No. It's all about that he would rather that the husband and the wife, they are married to each other, they can sit and talk friendly way.
Exactly.
And smart conversation, and convince the husband, like talk to him softly and nicely, and inform the husband in a professional friendly way that I really into education I really into the job. I really appreciate if you give me the permission so he can do it in friendly way. And he feel very sorry, Dr. Saeed, for Sister Amina, that she really wants to continue her education, and she wants to he understand what her feeling is about. And but what he said, it's from Quran al-Kareem and As-Sunnah Nabawiyya Sharifa, Sister Laila.
Yes.
So please forgive us for Dr. Saeed. He's asking to forgive him, and don't take it personal, because he just clarified it from Islam religion, what's about. And I hope that he said, I hope that they can work it out between each other.
Yeah.
And do it in a friendly way. And he said, we have smart ladies in our country, in Egypt, that they really get what they want, but in their own friendly, smart way of requesting it and getting things done by explanation and by Sister Laila, there is a way to make someone accept your request, right? You got me, right?
Yeah. Yes. Women
Set
know.
a dialogue with your husband.
Yes.
Set a dialogue with your husband.
Excuse me, Assalamu alaikum. Let me just say this. I was just repeating that question that person has asked. That's not me. I'm just saying that was just what do you say? Hypothetical. But alhamdulillah for this. What it did, it opened my eyes for me to tell my granddaughter that even if you do put some stipulation into your contract, this man can come and say he changed his mind. So alhamdulillah, thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
Sister Laila, any comment?
No, I think we did good. Inshallah, this was a great session. We had a lot of Muslims participating here in our Zoom room. We had over 43 people in here. We had over 20 something on Facebook. We got people listening in Nigeria, in Niger. Alhamdulillah, Sheikh Haytham, if you can, close us out. And Dr. Saeed, we're going to try to continue this again, another discussion on marriage. And we would love for you to join us when we continue it again, inshallah, with the second part of this session, on marriage, inshallah.
With my pleasure, inshallah.
You want it next Sunday at same time, 8:30, Sister Laila?
Yes, that would be good. If it's okay with Dr. Saeed, or we can change the time if he wants a better time.
Never mind.
It's okay? Okay, good. We'll keep the time for next Sunday, the second part of this then.
Okay, I have WhatsApp. If someone wanted to send a question or a fatwa or anything, I can help him. Okay,
no problem with that. No problem.
Dr. Saeed, أنا هبعت لك, I will send you a message in the back channel to write the WhatsApp, and Sister Laila will have it. If there is any emergency message, you can send it.
I do it. Okay, I do it now.
Okay, please, in the back channel. Sister Laila?
Yes, and tell him, can he join Zoom next time?
Yes, for sure. I will have a special room with him, and I will provide him with a complete training how to use Zoom meeting. Good. And I will train him so we can have him in Zoom.
Yeah, he can be on video, so he can be on our YouTube channel on video and stuff.
Yes, we will ask him if he have where he live a strong internet connection. Camera would be an option. Sometimes they are in a neighborhood, the connection is very weak. Okay. The only way we can do is only by voice. But if the connection is strong enough to go camera, we will for sure do the camera option, Sister Laila.
Okay, well, can you close us out here? You give the supplication to close us out so I can close out on Facebook and stuff, inshallah. Go ahead. Did you hear me, Sheikh Haytham? You want to close us out? You want me to do it? Okay, I'll do it. Okay.
One second. Okay, I was talking, mic was
Okay.
switch off.
Okay.
Sorry. I wanna just say to Dr. Saeed. Dr. Saeed, خلاص انتهت الحلقة اليوم إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله يوم الأحد القادم نفس التوقيت الساعة 8:30 إذا الوقت مناسب ليك حسب توقيت جمهورية مصر إن شاء الله. ونسعد بلقائكم دكتور سعيد، وإن شاء الله نغلق الروم. ممكن تعطينا دعاء دكتور سعيد، دعاء إغلاق الغرفة؟ جزاك الله خير.
Okay. Okay, so you want me to close it out then, Sheikh Haitham?
One, and Dr. Saeed, he couldn't hear me. Maybe he's talking with the mic on.
Probably.
1 second, let me ask him to open the mic. دكتور سعيد, are you أنت موجود؟ ممكن تفتح المايك؟ لأنه ممكن اتكلمت والمايك مغلق فإحنا ما سمعناكاش. Okay, so he's not there.
Okay.
So we will close it up with the special دعاء. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. May Allah accept our dua, inshallah. And Dr. Saeed, he just wrote a message. Maybe he can talk to us. Dr. Saeed, can you open the mic? Dr. Saeed, can you hear me? He's not there. So we can go ahead and close the room, inshallah. Sister Laila, go ahead and close the Facebook and the...
Okay, I just closed it. Okay, alhamdulillah.
I sent my WhatsApp number, okay?